create special moments. Find a proven opioid or stimulant addiction treatment provider near you at choosechangeca.org.
Sacramento, the wait is over. The all-new Hard Rock Sports Bar is here at Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Sacramento at Fire Mountain. Enjoy the ultimate 24/7 sports watching destination with 20 big screens with all the action for the premier game day experience. There's no other place you'd want to be to watch all the games with you and your friends. Now open at Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Sacramento at Fire Mountain. For more details, visit casino.hardrock.com/Sacramento. Get more for your money at Elk Grove Chevrolet, where value meets style. Lease a new Chevrolet Trax for just $199 per month plus tax. Enjoy its roomy backseat, flat rear window, and simple, attractive interior packed with an 11-inch touchscreen, wireless Apple CarPlay, and wireless charging. The Trax delivers more for less. Visit myelkgrovechevrolet.com today for full lease details and see why the Trax is such a smart choice. Call Maverick Electrical to claim your free furnace tune-up or electrical safety check with a donation. This month, donate 5 canned foods to Maverick Electric's Holiday Food Drive and get a free furnace tune-up or electrical safety check. They'll collect your cans at the appointment and make sure your heat stays comfy and your lights stay steady, so the only thing whistling is the kettle, not your ductwork. Visit callamaverick.com to schedule your free tune-up today.
What will a Maverick do? 'Cause you are a Maverick too.
Give to get with no gimmicks. Limited appointments. Some restrictions apply.
Varies by plan, view contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
If your car is out of warranty, one major repair bill could wipe you out. Just ask Ludacris.
Car breakdowns can wreck your wallet. Without Endurance, a worn-out timing belt could cost you $1,700. A busted transmission, that's $4,000 easy. An engine meltdown, $7,000. But if you've got Endurance, you could never pay out of pocket for a car repair again. With Endurance, your car's most expensive parts are covered. Plus, you pick the mechanic you trust to do the work. With Endurance, your rate stays the same no matter how many claims you file.
If your car is under 20 years old, Endurance has you covered with unlimited miles. Plus, your plan includes 24/7 roadside assistance anywhere in the country. Choose the name Ludacris trusts, Endurance. Right now, get $300 off any plan, plus a year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free. All backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. For your free quote, call 800-298-9539. 800-298-9539. 800-298-9539.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports 1140. Your home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sactown Sports.
Yes. On Thursday, Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. Kings basketball is back, baby. Taking on the Portland Trail Blazers, also known as the Murray Bowl, with Chris and Keegan Murray. And the Kings are going to have an opportunity to maybe battle with the team that has been kind of lauded as a success story, and maybe a little too soon for that, right? I mean, if I were to ask you the way, not just us, but the way people talk about the Blazers, you would think they're one of these upstart teams, right? You see what the Raptors have been doing, even though they cooled off a little bit. All these teams that started out hot have since cooled off. We were talking about the Bulls and how the Bulls are going to be the next Pacers. At least that's what they thought. We were talking about the Raptors, and I know the Raptors are still kind of doing their thing, and the Raptors are all over every single rumor, okay? We got a Scotto bomb, by the way, a Scotto banger that we are going to discuss. Michael Scotto has his write-up with the newest and truest from around the league because no moves have been made yet. Yeah, the Raptors are still 16-11. The Raptors are the 3 seed, so they're doing their thing. The Blazers, though, went from, oh my goodness, how did they manage to pull all this off? They got my guy Denny out there. They're rocking and rolling. Drew Holiday, if you actually look at where the Blazers are at right now, they have the situation with Dame where the Bucks are paying Dame, but then they re-sign Dame. So I don't know that Dame is really hitting their wallets quite yet, but Dame is there on the bench. That terrible Drew Holiday contract, Drew Holiday started out hot, but He's 36 years old, so Drew Holiday has missed a ton of time. Scoot Henderson is still out. We don't know if he's actually good at basketball. So we did all this praising of the Blazers just for them to, a couple weeks later, about a month later, be 10-16. So this is a good opportunity for the Kings. The Blazers just continue beating the Warriors. So every time they beat the Warriors, everybody says, man, those Blazers look good, but they're actually 10-16.
Well,
so
in the Blazers' defense, their coach did get federally indicted after the first game.
That's all true. I'm just saying, everybody, and what were they saying? Man, Tiago, he's really figured this thing out. They're 10-16.
But they're going to be the 10 seed.
Man, they're and you know what? That's a good point, Kyle, because they weren't in the play-in last season. So getting into the play-in this season is something when we talked about this before. When you are at that level of ascending, play-ins can be fun, right? When you're at that level of plateauing or descending, that's when play-ins aren't fun. Play-ins are fun on the way up. Play-ins aren't fun when they're the Kings Invitational and the Miami Heat Invitational.
The Jonas Valanciunas Invitational.
Exactly. So it's different. The Pelicans, it's different if you're on the way up. So that's a good point, Kyle. But even still, they are 10-16, and everybody was talking about them like they had turned the corner. They're ready to contend.
But there's also layers to this now in the new NBA when you've gone through these long rebuilds, because we've seen Detroit go from 17 wins to the number 1 seed in the East in 2 years. We saw Houston go from 12 to 2 in 1 year. This year, we're seeing the Spurs. The Spurs were the 12 seed last year? They hadn't been in the play-in in 4 years, and now they're the 3rd seed in the West and made it to the Cup final. So, there's levels to this where the Portland is making progress, but it doesn't feel like progress.
All I'm saying is that everybody was throwing Portland into the same category with all these teams that have, they're successfully doing the rebuild thing, but they are 10-16. But yes, their head coach is in prison or is in
not in prison, Allen. Just indicted.
Is indicted.
Chauncey Billups is a free man right now.
He's Chauncey somewhere. Careful with the X-rays. Just be careful there.
Chauncey Billups is not sitting in a prison somewhere right now.
I'm just saying, okay? Well, that's who the Kings take on tonight. Chris Watkins, who will join us at 12 o'clock and I'm pretty sure it's a fully loaded roundtable. Chris Watkins, as well as Brendan Nunez and Frankie Cardicelli should be in the building today.
We bring the
See, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with all three at the same time, but not just. You didn't have to. Okay.
That's what we do.
And Chris Watkins has personally requested to play a famous game here at Sactown Sports 1140. It is called Chris or Keegan. So we do this every time. Keegan plays his brother Chris Murray and the Blazers. So that will be sometime during the 12 o'clock hour where we will all chime in and guess whether the person talking is Chris Murray or Keegan Murray. And you, of course, can play along as well.
And I told him it's good that they're here because you're too good at this game now.
Yes. It's easy for me. Now I'll probably stink today, but it's easy for me. Also, speaking of easy, and I don't necessarily know how easy it is, nobody won the Powerball, which is why I'm here. I am here, which means that I didn't win the Powerball, but the good news is that nobody won the Powerball. Now, Saturday is your next chance. It is up to $1.5 billion. Okay, I went to buy the ticket after my holiday party, and it was a great time at the holiday party. And Kyle,
you were schmoozing.
I was everywhere. And Kyle, the machine at the gas station, it was on the fritz. The lady's banging the machine. It's not working. I mean, I thought, the winning ticket is in there. You know, when the machine doesn't work, it's going to spit out the Willy Wonka golden ticket. And it didn't today, or yesterday, but it's going to on Saturday, Kyle. I'll see you in Santa Cruz, and I'll see you in Tahoe when I got my cabin next to Frankie, because my family will now have a cabin like all these other random families that have cabins. So that's at That's again on Saturday. Now, a more realistic opportunity you have, Janet Jackson tickets. You have 2 more chances to win those Janet Jackson tickets. Kyle is going to pick that lucky number today. That's at 1 o'clock, okay? So you have an opportunity to win those tickets and go see Miss Jackson If You're Nasty at Thunder Valley, December 27th. So that's coming up at 1 o'clock. I don't know where the crumble cookies went. Oh, Kyle moved them over there. They just disappeared. Sometimes they just disappear, and people are always barging into the studio. So I looked up because I realized I'm zoned in here when I'm going through this stuff, and then somebody would just be staring at me through the door, and I get chills like I'm watching The Ring.
Don't worry.
I get very creeped out.
You and I still have a crumble ice cream sitting there for us.
There you go. So Janet Jackson at 1 o'clock, and I'm really excited to see this guy and to talk to him. 11 o'clock, Dan Favale. So Dan Favale of Bleacher Report, he wrote an article kind of breaking down the 3 best trade assets for each team. You'll never guess who he did not include on that list for the Kings, all right? And the list is, I would say, a little bit more unique than you would expect. So we're talking to Dan Favale at 11 o'clock. And Dan always has a lot of good context. He is really good at kind of balancing being tough on teams, whether it's the Kings or whoever else, but also giving them their praise when it is needed and when it is necessary and when it is called for. So Dan is going to join us at 11 o'clock. Would you take Zach LaVine or Michael Porter Jr.? We talked about how Michael Porter Jr.'s interest is raising. He costs about $9 million less than Zach LaVine. I think he's a really good player when he has his specific role. Look, the podcast thing and the streaming, we can separate that for now.
I call it galaxy brain.
Yeah, on the basketball court, Michael Porter Jr. has been playing really well. And again, as we kind of measure out the different trade assets for the Kings, if you are a team looking to add some type of sharpshooter, would you rather add a Zach LaVine or a Michael Porter Jr.? That's really what the conversation has been, because in my opinion, they're extremely similar. Okay, so could Michael Porter Jr. be available? Kind of mess up the market for Zach LaVine, because here's the thing: you got both of them for 1 more year. All right, and Michael Porter Jr. is at $40.8 million next season. Zach LaVine is at $48 million next season. And Zach LaVine is hurt again. So, yeah, these are the types of things that are going to, every time the Kings get a little bit momentum, something gets in the way. So we're going to discuss that. Like I said, Kings Roundtable, the Michael Scotto banger. But Kyle, a lot going on outside of the Kings. And by the way, I'm not going to say I got sources, but if you've been listening to this show, in 20 minutes, I called it. Now, I don't victory lap very often. I kind of do. But I called it. And Michael Scott, and I hadn't, look, I do talk to Michael Scotto, don't get me wrong. But we did not talk about this. I put that on everything. 10:30, a player that I literally said, you guys, I think this one is pretty obvious here for a swap. A player that was brought up, okay? A player that was brought up on this show by your boy, by me, is in the Michael Scotto banger. All right? And I'll give you a hint. The Kings did play this team and this player after I brought it up. But the player being moved in this situation would be Keon Ellis. That's all I'm going to tell you. But I'm telling you, I called it. I'm not going to say I got sources. I'm just going to say one thing leads to another, and we're talking about the same guy in a Michael Scotto banger that I brought up 2-3 weeks ago. So that's in 20 minutes. And you do not want to miss this, all right? Because I told you to go grind film, and maybe you did. Maybe you did not. I know Whitey Gleason, he wasn't a fan of it. Now, Whitey's always... By the way, can I just say this? I don't know if Kayla Anderson is going to be in today, but I'm driving to the holiday party. And I can't even now remember what Kayla said. But I'm driving to the holiday party. Kyle, minding my business, supporting the station, listening to the Drive Guys, and they're talking about, you know what it was? It was the Coach of the Year conversation.
In the NFL?
In the NFL.
Okay.
So I said, I can't believe that Kyle Shanahan is not in the top 3 as far as the Vegas odds for Coach of the Year. So I said that towards the end of the show, and Kayla was in the back listening. They were getting ready for their show. And I'm driving around, and they're bringing up, they were talking about Greg Papa, and it's awesome that Greg Papa is back. We're all very happy for him and thinking the best thoughts at all times for our guy, Greg Papa. Spent some time with him when I was in the Bay. He's a great guy. So Whitey starts off talking about that, and then they are talking Niners. They get into the Coach of the Year conversation, and Kayla, out of nowhere, they're talking about Kyle Shanahan, and she says, oh, yeah, Kyle Shanahan not being in the top 3. Oh, yeah, I don't agree with Allen often, but I do agree with him on that. Whoa, can you imagine me driving in the car, ready to go to the holiday party and schmooze, and I hear this?
You caught a stray?
From Kayla Anderson? Are you serious? What did I do?
You caught a stray right there? Look,
what did I do?
You're out there, you know? You're out there sometimes with your takes.
What did I do? I rarely agree with him. Are you serious, Kayla? You think I wasn't going to hear that? So I pray that she is in today. Don't run, because if we got something to say, we can say it.
Here's the thing that Kayla, if you're listening right now, because she listens pretty regularly to us, but if you're listening, Kayla, just know, first 8 minutes of a show, if you're going to mention Allen, he's going to hear it, because he only listens on the 8-minute drive to his house.
Well, in this situation, I was going downtown, and I'm in a good mood.
But again, 8 minutes. If Draper was going to say something about Allen, to say it in the first 8 minutes, or he'll never hear it again.
Ridiculous.
It's usually the same thing with Dave, but I don't know if Dave listens at all.
I can't wait. I cannot wait. So in that Michael Scotto banger, there was also mention of, we haven't hit our Kuminga quota in a while, but y'all didn't think he was going to go away. So Jonathan Kuminga and the Kings, there's more information there. Domantas Sabonis and some of the interest at the Raptors. Like I said, the Raptors are just all over the place, okay? So the Raptors are really trying to make a move and I guess build momentum on the fact that they are the 3 seed. So a lot to get to with this Michael Scotto article and everything that he had to say there, and a lot going on, like I said, outside of the Kings. Rams versus Seahawks tonight, and this is going to end one of 2 ways, okay? It's going to be 13-10, or it's going to be 35-38. It's either going to be the most boring game, and I know Devontae Adams is doubtful, so I don't believe he's going to play. I mean, the dude, did you see that? He was just laying on the ground.
Yeah.
He eventually got up, but he was just laying on the ground. There's no way. I don't know that they're trying to say, hey, it's a game time decision. That brother is not playing. There's no reason for him to play in that game. I understand the playoff implications, but you need Devontae Adams, okay? So doubtful for tonight's game. Of course, you have Puka, who's going to do his thing. Jackson Smith and Jigba going up against a Rams defense that is supposed to be really good, but just got shredded by a really good Lions offense. So what happens there? So that'll be a good game tonight. Delaware, their first season. Kyle's trying to say bowl season is dead. How about this, Kyle? The Hens of Delaware won a bowl game, their first season in the FBS. And I watched about 4 minutes of it. So how about that?
How about you put some respect on their name? They're not the Delaware Hens. They are the Delaware Fightin' Blue Hens.
I knew they were blue.
No, they're Fightin' Blue Hens.
I knew they were blue. The one quick story I have about the Delaware Blue Hens is we played them in a midweek game. So midweek games, they don't count because they're not conference, right? So if a coach wants to try stuff out, then a lot of times they would do that if they're trying to figure out a starting pitcher or something like that. So it's my senior year. So I don't need any breaks. It's almost over for me. So Delaware, I don't know if they got the same field now, but Delaware, their right field was a bandbox. And I'm looking for my first college home run. You know, I'm running out of time here, Kyle.
Contact hitter.
Oh, my goodness. The launch angle was just trash. So everybody saying, Allen, Delaware, everybody knows it flies out to right field. It's a shorter porch. So you better just look for something and load up. All right, we're on the bus from Philly out to Delaware. Pull up. Beautiful, beautiful campus, by the way. My wife almost went to Delaware because it's just such a nice campus and played softball there. And we get there, Kyle, and I'm ready to go. It's windy. I'm thinking I'm going to crowd this plate, get on top of something. Kyle, I look at the lineup, and there's a freshman in left field, and coach says, hey, Al, we wanted to give you the day off. I don't need a day off. So I did not play in that game, Kyle.
And you never got the chance to hit it out.
No.
You remember the final score of that game? Was it like 11-3 or something?
We probably lost, and like I said, I was a bad teammate, so I was salty. I'm thinking if I would have played, I would have hit my homer, and we would have won.
Here's how I know you're a bad teammate. That was 15 years ago, Allen, and you are still
what are we playing that freshman
still
for?
Thinking about it.
Hey, Allen, we just want to give you a rest. Rest? I'm gonna have a lot of rest after I turn about 20, after I graduate and I'm done.
Independent league, Allen.
Oh yeah, semi-pro, baby. So every time I hear about Delaware, that's the only thing I think.
The only thing I think of is Joe Flacco.
That's the only thing I think when I hear about the Delaware fighting Blue Hens.
But
okay?
now I have two stories. It's Joe Flacco and Allen getting benched when he could have hit a homer.
It wasn't a benching. All right? It wasn't a benching. They just were giving my body a break that I didn't need.
Yeah, while you had already moved from center to left.
Yeah, it was rough. Look, man, I was hanging on by a thread. All right, Zach Wilson is also hanging on by a thread in the league, I should say. So he's salty because he got, I guess, leapfrogged. I don't know if he was listed as 2. I think he was listed as 2.
Yes.
But they decided to go with Quinn Ewers from Texas as they have benched Tua Tagovailoa. So obviously, Zach Wilson's thinking, here's my opportunity to kind of reinvigorate my career, like the Sam Darnolds and others. And the Dolphins said, hold on, Playboy. We want to see what Quinn Ewers has. And you know what that tells me, Kyle? He must not be great in practice, right? Why wouldn't you go to Zach Wilson? He ain't old.
The Zach Wilson thing is weird because apart from that one time that he beat the Kansas City Chiefs on, what was that, Sunday Night Football, or he balled out, like Zach Wilson's been a career backup, but he also seems like a pretty bad teammate. So I feel like being a backup quarterback and a bad teammate doesn't lend well for Zach Wilson. So maybe that's part of it. Maybe they're just like, hey, man, Zach, we ain't bringing you back next year, so there's no point in having you play because you're 1-year deal.
How are you a bad teammate? I mean, do you think he's showing it by saying that he's frustrated? I mean, how are you a bad teammate in Zach Wilson's situation? Like, what could he be doing?
I'm just going back based on past evidence. Like, remember that time that they tried to bench? I can't even remember which of the random was it. It was one of those random Jets quarterbacks that played, and they tried to put Zach Wilson, and Zach Wilson was like, "No, I'm not gonna go play now."
Yeah, I do remember that.
There was that. There were a couple other like he called out his teammates, and that was originally why he got benched at the post-game presser. So. Yeah, I mean, Zach Wilson, kind of like Carson Wentz, just kind of has a body of work of not being a good teammate, and that's probably why he's going to bounce around. Because sometimes backup quarterback just needs to be a vibes guy.
Yes. If you're, again, juice worth the squeeze, right? If you're going to be a bleep hole, you better be good. I mean, that's what they say about Kobe, right? Kobe, I don't know that Kobe was a good teammate or bad teammate, depends on who you ask and what that level of, no, that's what good teammates do. But Kobe would tell you that he was a bleep hole, but he was Kobe. If you're Zach Wilson, people better like you, brother. And maybe people don't like him.
Well, I think people don't like him, but I bring that up to say Zach Wilson was on a 1-year deal. Quinn Ewers, who I think was a 6th or 7th round pick, has a 3-year. He has the Brock Purdy contract, essentially. Quinn Ewers does. So the Dolphins made the call, hey, next year, Quinn Ewers is going to be on the team. Zach Wilson is not. Therefore, why don't we just play Quinn Ewers and see what Quinn Ewers has? And I'm sure that upset Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
But the Dolphins already decided, we do not care. You are not coming back next year.
We do not care.
And again, just like everything in work, in life, in relationships, it's all about transparency. Maybe Zach Wilson thought it was clear and the Dolphins didn't make it clear. Maybe the Dolphins didn't know. Maybe, hey, we were gonna go with you, and we told you as soon as we knew that we weren't, right? I mean, just because you're the backup doesn't necessarily mean you're just another quarterback on the roster. Doesn't mean that we owe you anything, especially when you're Zach Wilson, and you better be happy that we're paying you, what was it, $6 million? He got a 1-year, $6 million deal. Brother, we gave you $6 million. You can be frustrated if you want. You can get back the money.
I mean,
how frustrated are you?
Look, Zach Wilson probably is better than Quinn Ewers. That's why he was listed as QB2 on the depth chart all this time. If Tua had gotten another concussion or some injury, Zach Wilson would have gone in. So I understand why Zach is... You can be transparent and not like the result, right? They could have said, hey, this is what's happening. And for Zach Wilson, he's looking at that like, well, what the you know what? Why am I even here then if I'm not going to get the chance to prove myself?
I mean, you're a placeholder, right? And here's a guy, he's bounced around a little bit. There is betting odds for him to be the next Shanahan backup project, the next last chance you player to come through Santa Clara.
Which, by the way, can I just say, if you've gone through Sean Payton, Mike McDaniel, and you're going to Shanahan now, like, if they can't make it work, then it's just not going to happen.
There's only one person left after that, Jim Harbaugh. And he's busy with Trey Lance. So, sorry, Zach.
I'm trying to even think. The Eagles, they already got Tanner McKee.
Yeah. No, and hold on. And Tanner McKee might be the starter. He might be the starter next season. So, yeah, a lot going around the sports world. But, of course, we got you with all of the latest and greatest when it comes to the Kings. Starting off with something that I brought up 2-3 weeks ago. And speak of it, and it shall appear. We'll tell you who is the young stud player that the Kings might be moving for Keon Ellis. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BOOST25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BOOST25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BOOST25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Now is the time before winter is full on in your kitchen to make sure your heat or your furnace is ready. How do you do that? Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating will get the job done for you like they did for me last winter when our system crashed and burned in the dead of winter. Check them out, leesair.com. Right now, get $100 off any AC heating or plumbing repair. Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating does it all, and they've been doing it at a high level for 40 years. See how they can help you stay warm and cozy all winter at leesair.com. That's Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating, license number 635355.
Thunder, feel the thunder.
It's the energy all around you.
Lightning and the thunder, thunder.
The thrill of the moments to come. The flash of lights. The rush of pure exhilaration.
Thunder.
The roar of the crowd. See it, hear it, feel it.
Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You ever notice how the other guys scream about massive discounts on their Dodge, Chrysler, or Jeep Ram vehicles? Then you get to the fine print and boom, another $5,200 in mandatory ads. At Hoblet, we don't insult your intelligence. The price you see is the price you pay. No mystery add-ons, no bait and switch, no gotcha when you sit down to buy. Hoblet, family owned for 77 years. Transparency, straightforward pricing. Buy it right, buy it at Hoblet.
Call Maverick Electrical to claim your free furnace tune-up or electrical safety check with a donation. This month, donate 5 canned foods to Maverick Electric's Holiday Food Drive and get a free furnace tune-up or electrical safety check. They'll collect your cans at the appointment and make sure your heat stays comfy and your lights stay steady, so the only thing whistling is the kettle, not your ductwork. Visit callamaverick.com to schedule your free tune-up today.
What will a Maverick do? 'Cause you're a Maverick too.
Give to get with no gimmicks. Limited appointments, some restrictions apply.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
Okay, so we talked about this particular player, and I said, you know what? This might make a little bit of sense, Kyle. And we talked about it on the show, and now our guy, Michael Scotto, is bringing up the same thing, okay? As previously reported by Hoops Hype, this is the quote, the Indiana Pacers were among the teams to express interest in Sacramento Kings guard Keon Ellis. Additionally, Hoops Hype has learned that Pacers forward Jarris Walker was mentioned during conversations surrounding Ellis. However, it's unclear which team brought up Walker with the exploratory discussions. Walker is owed $6.6 million this season and $8.4 million for the 2026-2020 season, guaranteed, while Ellis will enter unrestricted free agency this summer. Look, it just made too much sense.
Former top 10 pick.
Yeah, former top 10 pick. What does he go? 6'8", 6'9". He wasn't getting a lot of time. He is the prototypical from the Pacers, who've done a great job. With their second draft guys. But 2023 draft, 8th overall pick, 22 years old. I didn't know you could play basketball. I didn't know you could play in the NBA under 23. I don't think the Kings know that. 22 years old, from New Freedom, Pennsylvania. He went to Houston, 6'7", Kyle. I know some kid somewhere is doing the 6'7". He is at 31% from three this season. He's taking more. Last season, or his career, he's at 37 from three. He had a 37%. He had a pretty decent game against the Kings, and it makes just too much sense to me. And there's somebody out there that wants to, what's he going to do? And I don't want to lose Keon. This was the same Peyton Watson conversation. Same age as Peyton Watson. Around the same height as Peyton Watson. Peyton Watson's more slender, of course. But this guy could play the 4 for you. His nickname is the dang man-child. The man-child.
The man-child?
The man-child.
Oh, if he gets traded here, we're going to have so much fun with that and the Sabrina Carpenter song.
So he's not perfect, right? There's been kind of tough situations there. But again, you're talking about a team that went to the finals. So it's kind of hard for a then 21-year-old, right, to get on the court with the team that's in the finals, especially when it's not your team. So he hasn't been playing a lot. Last season, he was at 15.8 minutes per game. This season, he's at 25.6. He's taking 4.7 threes a game, like I mentioned. He's nearly at 5 threes a game. Last season, at 40%, he was only taking 2.5. And the season before, he was at 1.7. So we're just seeing his numbers go up as far as volume, which is why his percentage is kind of wavering right now. But yeah, man, I mean, we got to see him a little bit. He's averaging 9.7 points per game. The Pacers wish he was a little further along, but again, on a team that just jumped over a lot of the steps when it comes to the development, there just hasn't been a lot of time. It's kind of passed him by, which isn't really his fault. College guy as well. So you're thinking, hey, would he be more ready for the big stage? And it hasn't fully worked out. So let's see what he can do. Let's go get somebody that we know exactly who he is in Keon Ellis. And I'm doing that deal today. I'm doing that deal yesterday. I'm doing that deal twice on Fridays. I would do it in a heartbeat. And I don't know that Jarris Walker is going to be anything of note, but yeah, I'm going to trade a 25-year-old anywhere from 6'2" to 6'6" player in Keon Ellis, a guy that can only guard ones and twos. I'm going to trade that guy for a 6'8", 22-year-old. Who was taken top 10. I have to do that.
So why this is intriguing is that Jarris Walker is what I would call at this point Diet Kuminga. Like, he's not playing the same style or in the same role, but if you look at a blind resume test with the measurables, both go 6'7", both are about the same weight. But again, Kuminga was the 7th pick in the draft. Jarris Walker, the 8th pick in the draft.
Jarris looks thicker.
Jarris does look thicker, but
that man thick.
On Basketball Reference, he's at 230, and Kuminga's at 225.
Okay.
So it's not too much of a difference. You've got, obviously, the measurables. He blocks shots. Kuminga blocks shots adequately enough. Both are both are traditional power forwards of what you would think.
Yeah.
Of what the position is in today's NBA. Again, Jarris Walker's had better three-point shooting seasons. Obviously, he's not good this year. But essentially, he's not Kuminga now, but you're going the same thought process as to why you would flip Malik Monk in a pick for Kuminga or why you would flip Keon Ellis for Tari Eason. This is the same kind of thought process that you're working with, which is we can get someone who is young, who plays a position of need, and potentially can grow with the young core. And the part that I love allows Keegan to move back to the wing position.
Yeah, and again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you Jarris Walker is going to be the next star in the NBA. But what I will tell you is in 5 years, I just don't see a world where we are saying, man, and that's not this. Look, Keon can make some big threes in the finals for the Pacers. But even still, based on where the Kings are right now, it's just not a position where Keon is going to be able to do what he's meant to do, which is defend and shoot the threes when he's called on. And he can do that on the Kings, but it's not the same because that's the type of stuff that teams that are fully contending need. Because Keon's playing, well, he's not really playing that much, but Keon is not viewed as that, and Keon is not going to change the game that much for a Kings team that just isn't good right now. And if you're starting from the bottom, right, and you're starting a rebuild, that also is a situation where Keegan's already 25. So you got to go with the upside in this situation. You got to go a little bit younger, and this is exactly why I brought up Jarris Walker's name a couple weeks ago, and it turns out that there is smoke to that fire. I'm not going to say I know some things, but sometimes your boy knows some things, and sometimes it just makes sense. Sometimes it just makes logical sense when you look at rosters and you say, okay, well, the Pacers are interested in Keon. Well, who else could they be moving, right? We've talked about Benedict Mathurin, but he's got the restricted free agency. So what does that look like? It was going to be one of those two. It was going to be Jarris Walker or Benedict Mathurin. I think they're both different styles of Kuminga, funny enough. But Benedict Mathurin, I just think defensively, he's a little bit. He's a year older than Jarris Walker. He is a little smaller than Jarris Walker. He's another 3, maybe even a 2. So I think that the Kings just saw Jarris Walker as somebody and on Fanspo they got Jarris Walker at 240. I'll tell you that man. Look, sometimes we all get a nice plate. You know what I mean? And I had a nice plate last night. I'll tell you that much too. Some prime rib, some mac and cheese, and one of the best Caesar salads I've ever had. I'm going to tell you that right now.
It was really good.
And a roll, because you got to have a sweet roll, okay? So that is what came out from Hoops Hype. Again, a ton in this article. We're going to go through it over the next 4 hours, all the stuff that really pertains to the Kings. And it just made sense, Kyle. And the Indiana Pacers, they're trying to look ahead because Keon is not helping them this season. Right? Keon is not doing anything for them this season. I would say this, the difference between Benedict Mathurin and Jarris Walker is if you're trading for Keon and giving up Jarris Walker, yeah, you'd essentially be saying, hey, Keon, you're signing this extension, right? Because they could lose Benedict Mathurin in restricted free agency, and they're okay with that. You don't want to lose Jarris Walker for a month of Keon when you're not contending. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I guess the one thing that does give me cause for pause here is since Miles Turner left, they've been looking for like anything at that like stretch 4-5 position. They've tried Jay Huff. They've tried him. Like if they were willing to move on from him for a perimeter player, given where they drafted him and what they need,
he's
like
trash.
Not that he's trash, but it's like, okay, why are you moving on from this when you have a clear position of need at the big man position? That's the only thing I'm not saying it's Keon's a great player. I understand why they would trade for Keon, but it would just give me cause for pause of like, so why are you moving on from this guy?
But that was our initial question anyway. You're trading for Keon when you aren't really going to use him this season. You still have TJ McConnell. You have Ben Shepherd. You have, obviously, Andrew Nembhard and Tyrese Halliburton. And you have Aaron Nesmith, who I know can play both, but there does seem to be some redundancy there. That's literally what we talked about yesterday. Literally.
Yeah, and I think in that scenario, though, we had them getting Malik Monk, too, which I think kind of clogged it up a lot. But the Pacers would have to still find a center, I feel like, even if they ended up.
Well, they're going to go, maybe that's the next move. They go get Zubac, and this might be just one of the moves that they're looking to do. If they think that Jarris Walker isn't going to help them in a Zubac conversation, they're just going to use it for what they think he can net them, right? And I see somebody on the chat already saying Mathurin is way better than Walker. Mathurin is a much better scorer than Walker, yes, but that's kind of the thing with Mathurin. That's all he wants to do. That's why I call him Eastern Conference Kuminga.
Yeah,
because that's the issue in Indiana. He doesn't really want to do anything else other than get buckets.
Mathurin's got a lot of Malik Monk in him, if that makes sense for people listening, which I also didn't realize this until now. Jay Huff is leading the league in blocks. So maybe they're just like, we got our Walker Kessler and we'll just stick him in the middle.
That's right. Now we just need shooters around our big and around our all-star level point guard when he returns. When we return, we keep the conversation going as Dan Favale joins us at 11 o'clock. So we're going to go over Dan's article that he just dropped, the 3 best trade assets for every NBA team. Let me tell you this much. You will be surprised by who Dan has and doesn't have for the Sacramento Kings. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
Tonight, Kings and Trailblazers. Team night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner.
Starts at 5:30 with tip-off at 7. Listen to your Sacramento Kings
On the official home of Kings basketball, Sactown Sports 1140.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
So you need last-minute gifts. No judgment. Get an extra 25% off during Kohl's Friends and Family Sale and find great gifts under $20. Like something cozy, something thoughtful, something that says you planned this all along. Yep. You're just one quick trip away from checking off the last gifts on your list. Save now at KohlsandKohls.com. Select styles. Offer ends December 24th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohls.com for details.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take DayQuil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the DayQuil.
Undo your flu symptoms with DayQuil Intense Flu. DayQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
DayQuil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu, medicine. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
Everyone has a past, but what happens if you've made mistakes and made good on that past, but it keeps following you? Are you looking for an attorney to erase past records and restore your rights? Maybe even restore your gun rights? Do you need a reputable criminal defense attorney who knows even good people make bad mistakes? Well, the attorneys at Gonzalez Law Office are here to help. Find Gonzalez Law Office online at saclegaldefense.com or call them at 916-304-9187. We don't settle for less, and neither should you.
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Mike Rowe here with another fun fact. If your concrete is cracked or uneven, you can actually lift it back up. Whether it's a sinking driveway, a patio, or a sidewalk, do yourself a favor. Call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys. They're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to lift your concrete slabs.
Groundworks, official foundation repair company of Cal Athletics. Schedule a free inspection. Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Guys, leave weight gain, low T, and ED in 2025. For a limited time, Revive Men's Health Sacramento is offering free full diagnostic panels, a $400 value. Claim your free panel today. Call 916-619-3000 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140
on Sactown Sports.
Dan Favale will join us in about 15 minutes, okay? And as we were talking about what Michael Scotto had to say and the conversation regarding Keon Ellis and Jarris Walker, and we're about to get into Dan Favale's article. Sam Amick was on the morning show talking about Keon's trade value across the league, and here it is.
Keon Ellis market and the Keon Ellis discussion, I'm pretty confident saying, I don't know the outcome, but it's going to be in the news. He is a very popular player around the league. It's one of the more intriguing situations I've seen in a while, trade-wise, where we've talked about this, where it's like the outside perception appears to be, significantly better than the internal perception or market value. But there's still somewhat of an interest on the Kings' part of if there was an extension down the road to do at a reasonable number. They like Keon, but then the fans, of course, say, well, how can you say you like Keon? You don't always play Keon. And there's just a need for 3-and-D wings around the NBA. And, the early sense is that the Kings would like to get, it would probably be a late first-round pick or something of that nature, or protected. But they would like to get a first if they were going to trade Keon, and they're certainly open to discussing that. And I get the sense, I don't know how many teams have called about it, but I think that's not only interesting in a vacuum with Keon, but then it becomes, this is hypothetical, but a question of, I forget if we've talked about this, like if you have decided, you've got to find a way to get off at least one of these big contracts, then these are negative value contracts. I'm not going to say players, they're negative value contracts between Sabonis, Levine, and DeRozan, to a lesser degree DeRozan, but maybe still. So you might have to attach draft assets to those trades, and the Kings have zero interest in doing that. So the hypothetical is, can you get a good enough pick in a Keon Ellis deal that you then can sleep at night, turning, pivoting and kind of, putting that into a deal for one of the bigger guys. And in that case, yes, you gave up a pick, but it was a pick that, you didn't go into the trade season having.
That's from Sam Amick. You can check out that whole interview on YouTube and on the Sactown Sports app. I didn't love the end of that conversation, Kyle. Okay, I like the beginning of it, talking about a late first rounder, but it's what we've talked about before, using Keon as a sweetener or using him or just trading him straight up, like we've talked about for the Jarris Walker situation. Here's my thing with these quote-unquote big contracts. Me personally, I'm not moving. I know how the money works, but Zach LaVine turning into an expiring contract next season is huge. So if we look around the roster, and Zach LaVine now only has 1 year left on his deal, even though it's at a high amount, high AAV, and DeMar DeRozan is only guaranteed $10 million next season, which makes him a semi-expiring contract. What am I missing here? Because it seems like the only player that I would attach Keon to in a deal like that would be Domantas Sabonis, which sounds insane, but I don't know what the rush would be to move off of Zach LaVine when you only got a couple. What do you do if you move? Okay, we're off of it. Okay, what are you doing anyway?
You know, Sam said something that I think kind of answers your question indirectly, which is Keon. They're trying to get a first-round pick, potentially. That is what they value Keon Ellis at, is getting like a first-round pick. Maybe they'll get it, maybe they won't. In a world where they do the scenarios we were talking about earlier this week, Keon and Monk, Keon and DeRozan, Keon and LaVine for Paul George, whatever those scenarios we did earlier this week, in that scenario, if you value Keon as a first-round pick, then doing a trade like that would kind of be the equivalent of that player and a pick going to the other team. In that Milwaukee example that they brought up on Bleacher Report, the DeRozan and Keon for Cole Anthony and Portis and Kuzma, that's essentially using Keon like a first-round pick going to Milwaukee because you're attaching him as a sweetener onto the DeRozan trade. So in a way, Keon might, if he can't go for a true first-round pick, he might have more quote-unquote value being attached like a first-round pick to one of these
just
trades.
To get off of a contract.
Or to sweeten a deal or something like that.
Yeah, but you would also, but you're not necessarily getting one back.
No, but that's the thing. That's why he's saying if you get a first-round pick and then you have to attach a first-round pick to trade Zach LaVine, then you're not adding or subtracting a first-round pick in theory. So then if you just traded LaVine for LaVine and Keon in a separate deal, then it's the same outcome of getting a first-round pick for Keon and then trading that first-round pick to attach it to a contract. So it's kind of the same idea.
I still feel the same way. What's the point?
Yeah.
What's the point?
It's just shuffling the deck or getting younger or
just extend Keon, and I guess it's hard to give him that playing time, but to me, I've said this from jump, if you can move DeMar DeRozan, it just opens up a lot. And I get it. Moving DeMar DeRozan wouldn't directly help Keon. But yeah, I don't know. It's just 2 years, right? Domantas Sabonis is the one that I would talk about because he's got 3 years left. But Zach LaVine, just wait it out. That's how I feel about it. Just wait it out.
But that's kind of the idea of trading Keon and then not attaching a pick. Like if someone is willing to take DeMar DeRozan for Kyle Kuzma, then you might just look at that and say, great, we get a second-round pick and move on. If someone's willing to give you something for any of those contracts Sam mentioned, LaVine, DeRozan, Monk, then good on you. You make that swap. You've, quote-unquote, built up their value or whatever you want to call it. But absent of that, the reason to trade Keon is you get an extra pick, you potentially get a young player, and you clear out whatever the quote-unquote logjam was.
Yeah, it's a good call. I guess it could go either way. We'll have to see. All right, wanted to get to this. Speaking of, Dan Favale is going to join us in about 7 minutes, and we have this article from him where he breaks down the top 3 assets for every NBA team. Okay, so here are Dan's top 3 assets for the Sacramento Kings. He has teams listed as buyers or sellers. I'll give you one guess as to what he has the Kings written down as. Yeah, that's right. Sellers. So Dan says the top assets, Keon Ellis, Malik Monk, and Zach LaVine. No DeMar DeRozan, no Domantas Sabonis. Okay, Keon, Malik, and LaVine. And he writes, this big board changes to incorporate draft picks if the Sacramento Kings are out of touch enough to fancy themselves buyers. Selling should be the goal if they have any semblance of self-awareness. Ellis would typically be considered off limits as a 3-and-D spark plug, but he's headed for free agency and doesn't really play. Monk's driving and shot making can slide into a good team's starting 5 or run the offense for a bench mob. His price point could drive some suitors away, but a balance of 3 years and $60.6 million isn't quite prohibitive either. Domantas Sabonis or Zach LaVine? That's the question at number 3. The latter won out the first time around, but appears fully Sacramento-fied these days. Sabonis' partially torn left meniscus complicates his value at a time when it was already complicated. He is already someone around whom you must tailor most of your offense, and his contract is expensive. Now he's injured. Even so, the fact that he can anchor a top-tier offense when healthy gives him a better shot of bagging the Kings' first-round equity than LaVine or DeRozan. But he did still have LaVine as the pick. So I think we can obviously tell that there was a lot of back and forth in his mind as to which direction he should go, because both of those guys are kind of in tough spots, right? So yeah, Keon, Malik, and Zach LaVine. It sounds like once Sabonis gets healthy, he would give the nod to Sabonis. But having Malik and Keon, maybe from a money perspective, is why he had them over DeMar and Domantas Sabonis. Yeah, the DeMar thing to me, we're going to talk to Dan about it in about 3 minutes here, but the DeMar thing to me is really fascinating because I know we've done this conversation before, but with what Doug has been saying about the playing time is now, and hey, this is Keegan's team, is now when we might see DeMar come off the bench? Is now when we'll see it?
For Keegan
move? It doesn't matter.
Okay, just move him to the bench.
Just move him to the just. What are you trying to accomplish? Because I guess the reason he's not being brought up, and maybe it would hurt because you're paying a $24 million guy to come off the bench, but that this contract is almost cooked, right? He could come off the bench for someone, I don't know who, but it just like Bo Bichette. Hey, I could play second too, right? If Bo Bichette early on, I'm a shortstop, even though he played second in the World Series. He didn't get enough calls. Hey, I could play second. I'm not against it. DeMar, we just haven't heard anything.
Man, the funny thing about this is if DeMar were playing bad, it would be such an easy decision. He's having the most efficient shooting season of his career.
But nobody seems to care.
No, but you can't justify moving him to the bench because he's playing good.
Let's talk to Dan Favale when we return. He's got some great stuff to say. You don't want to miss it. Coming up next. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
Tonight, Kings and Trailblazers. Team night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner.
Starts at 5:30 with tip-off at 7. Listen to your Sacramento Kings.
On the official home of Kings basketball, Sactown Sports 1140.
I'm with Vince Bloom, the big deal guy at Folsom Lake Dodge. Vince!
Actually, this time of year, you can call me the Holiday Big Deal Guy.
The Holiday Big Deal Guy!
Because during the wrap-up the year sales event at Folsom Lake Dodge, you can save over $18,000 net savings off MSRP on a new 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4.
I'll take it.
And for a stocking stuffer,
keys to a Jeep,
a new 2025 Jeep Wrangler 4-door Sport S. Right now, I've got one for only $36,995.
That's why they call you the Big Deal Guy. So over $18,000 off a Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab
and a Jeep Wrangler Sport for only $36,995. But you'll only find these big holiday deals at one place.
That's right, only one place. At Folsom Lake Dodge. In the Folsom Auto Mall.
But online at FolsomLakeDodge.com.
Ram includes 98.73 dealer discount plus 8207 in national stackable and holiday bonus cash. Then SN 6671.96. Cheap includes 4250 dealer discount plus 12750 in bonus national retail loyalty and holiday cash. Must be current owner of SCA vehicle to qualify for loyalty bonus cash. Then SW 543907. See dealer details. Expires 1/2/26.
Sniffles and sneezes got you down? GoodRx is here to help with big savings on commonly prescribed cold and flu meds. GoodRx is free and easy to use. GoodRx is accepted at all major pharmacies like CVS, Walmart, and Walgreens. Just search your prescription, find a coupon, then show your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx is not insurance, but it works whether you have insurance or not. If you do, GoodRx may beat your copay price. Download the free app or visit GoodRx.com to save today.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Thunder, feel the thunder.
It's the energy all around you.
Lightning and the thunder, thunder.
The thrill of the moments to come. The flash of lights. The rush of pure exhilaration.
Thunder.
The roar of the crowd. See it, hear it, feel it.
Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
Call Maverick Electrical to claim your free furnace tune-up or electrical safety check with a donation. This month, donate 5 canned foods to Maverick Electric's Holiday Food Drive and get a free furnace tune-up or electrical safety check. They'll collect your cans at the appointment and make sure your heat stays comfy and your lights stay steady, so the only thing whistling is the kettle, not your ductwork. Visit callamaverick.com to schedule your free tune-up today. Give to get with no gimmicks. Limited appointments. Some restrictions apply.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacramento's official home of the 49ers.
San Francisco.
Sactown Sports, 1140. Your home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sactown Sports.
Taking you up to 2 p.m. And look at that. We even got you back. I think we're winning this break on time competition. We're running away with it. We even got you back a minute early. And you know why we got you back a minute early? Because we wanted to make sure you got as much time as possible with our guy, Dan Favale, NBA writer for Bleacher Report. Always a great time when Dan has time to join the show. Dan, thank you for joining us, man. Happy holidays. Hope everything is good.
Everything's well on my end. Hope you could say the same. Thanks for having me, Alan.
Of course, of course. So, Dan, 48 hours passed where you could trade someone and then trade them again. We call it basically the Dennis Schroeder rule because that's what happened to him last season with the Golden State Warriors. There was a thought that maybe more action would happen so teams would have that out, but nothing happened. Nobody got traded. Were you surprised or did you expect no movement within the first 48 hours?
I expected no movement, I think in large part because unlike last year when some of the bigger name trades like Luka came out of nowhere, having the specter of a Giannis and Anthony Davis, all these star guards that have been bandied about the rumor mill, it feels like a lot of teams are kind of lying in wait to see what happens with them, whether they're a team that might be interested in them or whether they're one of the teams that might be trading them. So I would have been actually fairly surprised if we got anything semi-noteworthy with, like you said, ever since the Dennis Schroeder rule ticked off.
Talking to Dan Favale, NBA writer for Bleacher Report. So, Dan, we in the segment prior, we read off your Kings write-up in your new article about the top 3 trade assets for every team. And as interesting is as it has been to read who you did have, I'm also interested in who you didn't have, because you did not list Domas, and based on the write-up, it kind of sounded like it was a decent bit because of the injury. But I'll tell you what, Dan, Domantas Sabonis might have the most confusing value to me, and I'm not just saying it because I'm in Sacramento, in the league. I really don't know what his value is. When the Desmond Bane trade happened, I was going back and forth with other shows on this station because I said, yeah, Domantas Sabonis would get that Desmond Bane package, and other shows said, no, Allen, I don't think he would get that. Where do you think Domantas Sabonis' value lies?
I think you used the right word there, is that it is complicated or confusing. And I think the problem is that he's injured right now. It certainly doesn't help, but he's been durable in the past, played through a bunch of injuries. But he is someone that you do feel compelled to build your entire offense around. And I think we're seeing teams gear themselves more towards guys who might be more universally scalable, where you could put them in any type of situation, like a Desmond Bane is more plug and play in Orlando. With that said, I personally tend to favor guys who can basically drive your entire offense, and the way that Sabonis has played for most of his time in Sacramento, I would think that, especially if the Kings are willing to take back some not so hot money as part of it, this is not someone I'm moving without getting multiple first-round picks. And the stuff that's out there, well, would the Kings have to attach something, or would they just accept expirings? If that's all that's out there, you keep Domas Sabonis and you revisit the situation over the summer.
Yeah, I agree with you there. He might not get you what Desmond Bane got you, but the idea of having to give something as well as Sabonis, let's just wait it out and see what happens. Another guy that you didn't have on your list, and again has a level of confusion when it comes to his value, is DeMar DeRozan. Our producer Kyle was mentioning how DeMar DeRozan might be having the most efficient season of his career, but he's 36 and nobody cares, and he plays a style of basketball that people just aren't really high on right now. In this world, Dan, does it make sense to bring up the bench conversation to show other teams what he can do? He's a semi-expiring contract because next season isn't guaranteed besides that $10 million. What should be the approach with DeMar DeRozan?
Well, I think if you're a team, you're acquiring him, you mentioned the $10 million guarantee. I think that might be one of the primary catalysts for him being moved. And even then, teams don't generally like to, waive and stretch $10 million at the end of the year. The bench conversation is interesting because at this point, as efficient as he might be, the way he does like to play, unless you're kind of putting him in a lineup that has the ultimate spacing and defensive versatility around him, it feels like that could be the role for which he's best suited on a real team, on an actual contender. And I'd be curious to see if he'd be interested in such a role. But I think the challenge becomes, what's the team you go and look at that has the money that they can send out to match DeMar DeRozan's salary right now, and then is also willing to send back something to the Kings? And I think that's where it gets challenging for me when I was going through these trade asset rankings, is I'm trying to spot the suitor, even with Sabonis, like who is the suitor coming in that's going to maybe be willing to give up all these picks or some of these assets. And with DeRozan, he's an even tougher fit to me than Sabonis by far, and that's why he didn't crack that list.
Talking to Dan Favale, NBA writer for Bleacher Report, we've talked about some of the names that weren't on your trade asset list, Dan, top 3 for each team. Now let's talk about the names that were on your list. This is a name that has been brought up, and Michael Scotto has mentioned the Pacers. Multiple people have mentioned the Pacers for Keon Ellis. Where do you see this thing ending for Keon? The sweetener conversation that's been brought up, like you said, with one of those bad contracts. I know Sam Amick was on our station this morning and said, yeah, in a perfect world, the Kings could get a late first rounder for him. Keon would, of course, have to, verbally agree to an extension with the team if they're giving up a first rounder. Where do you see this thing ending? Do you think it could be Keon for a young player? Is it that simple? Could it be the sweetener conversation? What's your best guess on how Keon's story ends, which was a really good story in Sacramento? Or I guess the other thing is maybe it doesn't end and they extend him in Sacramento. What's your best guess as to how this thing ends?
I will say I'll be pretty shocked if he is still on the Sacramento Kings past the trade deadline. I think he's more likely to be moved as part of a larger deal just because his salary is so small. And I think even though he has that standalone value, if you just move Keon Ellis, I think you're getting probably multiple second-round picks. I don't think you're going to, with free agency on the horizon, with him even getting a raise if he's agreeing to extend, that a team is going to give up first-round equity. Now, you attach that with someone else on the team, or if you're, and then maybe you're taking back some bad money. That, to me, is how you get into first-round equity territory. The scenario that I think I still wouldn't pick it as the most likely, but what you did allude to that I find super interesting is, can you move him for another cheaper player, for another younger type of player? Maybe it's even someone who's, like is it a Tari Eason in Houston? It's someone who's going to get paid himself, but might be more of a better fit with the Kings moving forward, and they're willing to pay him, and the Rockets are worried about his injuries, and they think Keon Ellis will be cheaper. That could be something I see them explore. I ultimately think that Ellis will be moved as part of a larger trade, or we're going to be looking back at the deadline and say, oh, the Kings got 2 second-rounders for Keon Ellis.
Talking to Dan Favale, NBA writer for Bleacher Report. Dan, another name and another injury for Zach LaVine. This time it's his ankle. Somebody that came up recently, we've been talking about how other players and the more players that become available, it might make the Kings assets not look as glamorous, and I don't know how glamorous they are to begin with. But Michael Porter Jr. is on a heater, okay? If I'm a team that's interested, now podcasting and everything else aside, if I'm a team that's interested in Zach LaVine, don't I just go get Michael Porter Jr. for $10 million less, and they're both on the same 2-year contract? I'm just kind of worried, Dan, that Michael Porter Jr. doing his thing, they're kind of in the same market, and you're paying Michael Porter Jr. about $10 million less a year.
Yeah, he's also bigger and probably going to be better defensively, and he's definitely going to be a better rebounder. I think where I would trust peak Zach LaVine more is, I know Michael Porter Jr. has done more of it in Brooklyn, but just as a shot creator for himself, in addition to being to play off the ball, that would be his appeal. And the other thing that teams might view as flexibility, and this has been in the ether for basically since before the season started, would Zach LaVine be willing to decline his player option and then re-sign a longer deal at a smaller number? So maybe you're making less than Michael Porter Jr. after this season, but you're just on the books for a couple more years. And if he expresses an openness to do that, I think that's how his value could truly skyrocket. It still poses challenges for this year. $47.5 million is a hard number to get to, but I think the scenario of declining that player option and signing a longer-term deal worth, $30-35 million per year, that could help drive his market value above that of Michael Porter Jr. or some of these other sharpshooters that'll find their way onto the chopping block.
Dan, that is an incredible point because, look, Zach LaVine has kind of had the situations with the fan, and I don't know how Zach LaVine's time is being viewed. He was moved from the closing lineup for a couple games. Initially, the first thought you have is, hey, turning down $47 million is just malpractice, right? But if you are doing it in a spot that makes sense, and hey, I'm going to get this money back in a different way over the next 3 years, and it's somewhere, because again, Zach LaVine was traded. He did not choose to come to Sacramento. Maybe he values that over, a lump sum of $47 million, and then he's got to do the same thing anyway. So I think it's a good point. I think that one comes down to how bad, who else is available, and how bad do you want to get out of Sacramento? Because it is a weird thing. We were talking about this, Dan, lately. Doug Christie, nobody talks about the vets, right? Nobody talks about them. They've completely turned the page. So if I'm Zach LaVine, I'm not counting pockets, but maybe I just think, you know what? If I got to take a slight pay cut or take my money in 3 years versus just one, I kind of just want to get out of here. Maybe that's his thought process.
I think it could be. And look, the other thing, too, is, and I want to make it clear, he's above this class of player, but the league has gotten to a point where they don't seem to know how to value, or they don't value guys who they're not quite floor generals and they're not quite wings. They're just these fringe combo guards. And so he's not a Cam Thomas, as an example, but we've seen these guys go on to the open market or be on the trade market for a while and not get a ton. And so if he's thinking ahead and saying, what would the summer of 2027 look like for me when I'm into my 30s? If you can lock down a situation where you're getting 3 years and $100 million after this season, so you're essentially guaranteeing yourself an extra $50 million long term, I think it would be wise of him to think in that vein. Just again, I don't know that, it's an RJ Barrett, it's a Tyler Hero. It's just a lot of these players that fall into that bucket where it seems like teams may not value them on their more expensive deals as much as they have in years past.
Yeah, it's not to bring up Pokemon, but he's kind of the Charizard of that type of player. But even still, I don't know how much that card is worth these days. That's the problem, Dan. Talking to Dan Favale, NBA writer for Bleacher Report. Dan, not too long ago, you wrote an article about who other teams might be interested in if the trade deadline was today. And a name you brought up was Asa Newell on the Hawks, in a situation where the Hawks have a lot of young guys, and it's hard for some of these players to get on the court. And Michael Scotto is bringing up Jarris Walker in a possible deal for Keon Ellis. Can you talk a little bit about the rise of these second draft options? It feels like the Pacers did this the right way in getting guys like Aaron Nesmith, and now the rest of the league is trying to find, I wouldn't consider Shea a second draft guy, even though he was traded, but Tyrese Halliburton, in a way, was a part of that too. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about kind of the rise of, hey, yes, we want to get guys in the draft, and you got to find your dude, top 5, whatever it is, but these second draft situations seems like it's rising, and it's trending throughout the league.
Yeah, I think teams are just looking to find cost-controlled value wherever they can because of the era of aprons and how they don't even want to fork over their own draft picks now. And I think when you look at some of these teams that have either gotten a lot better quicker, when you're talking about a Jaden Ivey as an example in Detroit, or just a team that was already good and never really had the runway to develop a Jarris Walker like they would have wanted to until now, and the returns just aren't there, I think there's an urgency to maybe move off of those guys before you have to think about paying them, which is, Indy's going to run into, he's having a great season, but that problem with Benedict Mathurin, if you don't want to run into that same issue with a Jarris Walker. And so a name like Tari Eason in Houston's another example of this, especially as they've paid guys around him. Asa Newell, you're kind of getting way out in front of that, but when you look at what the Hawks have in their front court right now, they've been linked to Anthony Davis, they'll be linked to Giannis. It makes you wonder if, how many developmental minutes will they have for him moving forward? And if I'm the Kings, just looking at the situation I'm in, I'm trying to get as much young talent in here as possible, even if they're stabs in the dark, because if one of them ends up popping, you have this cost-controlled asset for X amount of years, and it gets easier to build out your team regardless of the direction in which you're going to take it.
Talking to Dan Favale. Dan, I know everybody is running around right now with the trade season upon us and, of course, the holiday. So just a couple more for you. We talked about how many stars got moved last season. I know KD was technically after the season, but we knew it was going to happen. We sure talked about it a lot. But Luka, Jimmy, guys like that, there's a new crop of names, and of course headlined by Giannis, and you have others that are always kind of around, the LaMelos, the Ja Morants, the Trae Youngs, the Zion Williamsons. Which stars, or how many stars, do you think actually get moved this trade season? Is it going to be a lot of talk again, or do you think some big names actually get moved before the deadline in February?
I was just having this conversation with a colleague, and we set the over-under on the number of big names being moved at 1.5. And I was hesitant to take the over, but I think I will take the over. If you're willing, I feel like one of those 3 guards in the Trae, LaMelo, Ja Morant mold, I could see one of them getting moved. I actually don't think Giannis gets moved, but I could very much see an Anthony Davis getting moved. If a Trey Murphy, I think he kind of falls under that bucket. It wouldn't surprise me. So I'll be an optimist just because you hate to spend all this time dissecting rumors and nothing comes of it. And I'll take over 1.5. But when you're looking at the name, like the single biggest name that I think has the best chance of being moved, I kind of feel like it's Anthony Davis. Even though the ship on tanking may have sailed for the Mavs this season, I think if it comes clear that Giannis won't be available or that the Bucks are trying to beef up the rotation around him until the offseason, I think teams will pivot towards Anthony Davis and say this is the name, if he stays healthy, that could really shift the title landscape.
Who is a team that you think, I don't want to say a garage sale, but who is a team that you think has a good amount of assets that, again, could kind of get in the way of the Kings? And I'll give you an example. We're seeing the Raptors connected to everybody, from Domantas Sabonis to Anthony Davis, everybody. And from the couple games that I have watched of the Raptors, well, they can't really get healthy. But honestly, they might be playing better because they're not healthy, because of the redundancy that RJ Barrett and Brandon Ingram and some of these guys all create. That's a team to me that sticks out as some of this doesn't make sense. Grady Dick is getting like 15 minutes a game. They got young guys. That's a team that I think has to make a little bit more sense. Would you go with them? Is there another team that you think, hey, they're not bad, but they definitely need to offload some things and make a little bit more sense?
The Raptors are a great example of this. I don't think they're going to do this, but I would just keep my eye on Cleveland. They're the only team in the second apron, and they're currently 9th in the Eastern Conference. So if things I know they've been injured, but if things keep trending in that direction, they would be another team to watch. And also, I would just keep my eye on the Heat. I think the only player there that they wouldn't be willing to move at this point is Bam Adebayo, and so it wouldn't shock me if they kind of try and get out ahead of maybe Tyler Hero's next payday, or do they try and take a swing while using Khalil Ware as primary bait in there? Do they just look at recouping value for Andrew Wiggins, who I think is going to appeal to many more teams at this point than a Zach LaVine or a Michael Porter Jr.? And so that's kind of a team that I think could be sneaky. Everyone pencils them in as buyers, but just given how much they've prioritized flexibility in the coming summers, I could see them holding what you called as a mini garage sale.
Yeah, and now I'm gonna let you go, Dan, but the information is so good. I just wanted your thoughts on this one. Somebody brought up Domantas Sabonis and Bam Adebayo together, and from a basketball standpoint, because look, I wanted Khalil Ware among others in that draft, and the Kings didn't take him. So I'm always trying to find a way to get Khalil Ware. And somebody brought up Domantas Sabonis and Bam Adebayo. I don't get it, Dan. I'm going to be honest with you. Them together in a front court, do you get it?
I don't know that I get it, but it could work just because of the way they both expanded their range, and Domas and Bam are just both such high IQ players. Look, Sabonis is look, I floated the Spurs with him and Wemby just because they need a bigger physical presence next to him. They have Luke Cornett, but I think Sabonis is clearly an upgrade there, probably not defensively. He's just a tough fit, and I think people blanch at a lot of it. So I like him next to Wemby way more than a Bam. But Miami would just be interesting, especially because of the way that they're running their offense this year. I'd be curious to see how Domas Sabonis works within the system that they're running right now.
All right, I promise, Dan, last one for you. Where is your line on the double down and triple down when teams decide to not say uncle and continue to buy into this? Obviously, that's what the Kings did when they traded De'Aaron Fox for Zach LaVine and, some okay picks, right? They didn't go in the direction of we're just going to get some expirings and focus on young talent and picks. But I'm looking here at a LaMelo Ball, and a lot of people would say, no, Allen, no LaMelo Ball in Sacramento. That is a double down. But to me, it's not really a double down because you do have to acquire talent. He's only, 24 years old, and you would still stink and have your 2026. You would have to give up some picks. But if you say, hey, we're not giving up 2026 because we're going to stink and we might get a top 3. So you'd have Sabonis, LaMelo, Keegan, and a top 2026 pick. That is a version of, I guess, saying double down, but that to me, Dan, would be viewed differently throughout the NBA, much differently than the Zach LaVine thing, or even if they went and got, I don't know, Zion or Trae Young, simply because of age and LaMelo's ceiling when he actually plays.
Yeah, you're preaching to the choir on LaMelo because I would absolutely, if he's not going to cost me top end first and I have to give up 2 later first to get LaMelo, I'm absolutely doing it. I'm a big believer in LaMelo Ball. I know the injuries are there, but he is a transcendent offensive player. And so if you can get him, he's still on. He has 3 additional years, I believe, after this on his contract. He's on the right side of 25. I think the problem would be that optics-wise, no one's going to trust that the Kings made the right decision. But if the Blazers, as an example, turned around and did the same thing, and it's 2 first-round picks and some salary and one of their younger players to get LaMelo, I think people would talk themselves into it. I will absolutely talk myself into it if the Kings do it, because I would be a big believer in such a move. Again, if you don't have to give up this year's pick. But I wouldn't, that's the name. I'd have a problem if they did it with John Morant, who I just don't think he's going to age all that well, and Trae Young, he's so ball dominant that he becomes such a tough fit if you're trying to make your team more flexible. But a LaMelo Ball would be sort of the perfect type of in-between. I don't view it as a triple down, but you're also not crying uncle and saying, hey, we're tearing this thing down to the studs and rebuilding from scratch.
That is what I like to hear, Dan. Dan, thank you so much for joining us, man. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. We really appreciate you taking the time. Best to you and yours. And I have a feeling we'll be chatting again soon before February. Thanks again for taking the time, man.
Most definitely. Happy holidays to you and yours as well, Alan. Take care.
Dan Favale of Bleacher Report, NBA writer. Great stuff from Dan. Wow. Well, that is something else. That's all I needed to hear. How did I turn in to I guess I found a new world, Kyle. I found a new world where we're not doubling down, okay? It's not a bad double down. It's just acquiring talent. You're acquiring young talent.
That's a way to phrase it.
Yes, you're acquiring young, somewhat expensive talent. LaMelo is 24 years old, okay? And he turned 24 in August. So he's a young 24. We know about him. I do like what Dan had to say as far as why he wouldn't do the Trae Young thing. Kyle, sounds like another point guard that would not work with Sabonis. So eliminate him too.
You're saying Trae Young.
Trae Young.
Okay.
And we're on the same page, Dan and I, with John Morant. But yeah, maybe it's just that simple. Obviously, it's a gamble, but I don't know. I don't know why I'm talking myself into this. I guess my point is this. A lot has to go right via the draft. And if you get a known talent, you can still do right through the draft, but it can't accelerate things, right? The Blazers did it. I know they're 10-16, and I was making fun of them, but the Blazers did it with Denny Avdia, right? It can't all be done through the draft. And I just think the idea that everybody has in their mind right now, hey, Scott Perry said we're going to stink, so we're going to stink for 3 to 5 years, hit on every draft pick over the next 3 to 5 years, and then all of our draft picks are going to be starting lineups. Let's think about it like this, Kyle. Let's go through all the contenders, and we can do this on the other side, all of the contenders, and look at their starting lineups and how many of their starting lineups consist of dudes that they drafted.
Yeah, I think kind of the way I look at it is one way or another, you got to get 8 players who are top 150 in the NBA, like 8 guys who are starting caliber players in the NBA, right? Malik Monk doesn't start, but he's a starting caliber player in the NBA. You need 8 rotation players that could start on an NBA team, which is essentially top 30 at their position. And of course, none of it matters if you have a superstar, but the modern NBA is testing that theory a little bit as the Indianas go to the finals and the Mavericks have 1 star in Luka and just a bunch of dudes. You know, the modern NBA is testing that theory of...
Put some respect on PJ.
Yeah, you know, I'm just saying. They had one guy. They had one guy and then a bunch of dudes.
Dante Exum's name.
Yeah,
That's what you're going to do, right?
Daniel Gafford. But again, the modern NBA is testing that theory a little bit, but most of the time, if you've got 8 players who are top 30 at their position, you are probably going to have a very good team. And sometimes you get that through trades, sometimes you get that through draft and development, but there's different ways to go about it, which is kind of the point. Although I didn't hear the second part of the interview because as soon as he said Sabonis to the Spurs, I was just off. I mean, you can get me Harrison Barnes, Jeremy Sohan, Keldon Johnson.
No. If we're
Carter Bryant.
No. Well, yes on that. Even though I've seen Carter Bryant play once in summer league, but it was enough. All right, let's break down everything Dan had to say. That'll be up on YouTube and the Sactown Sports app as well. Zach LaVine versus Michael Porter Jr. Is Michael Porter Jr. getting in the way of the chances the Kings have to move LaVine? Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
Tonight, Kings and Trailblazers. Team night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner.
Starts at 5:30 with tip-off at 7. Listen to your Sacramento Kings.
On the official home of Kings basketball, Sactown Sports 1140.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-791-0000. That's 800-791-0000.
Who has the largest selection of golf merchandise in Northern California? The Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. It's the go-to store for golf bags, apparel, equipment, lessons, club fittings, novelty items, and more. With their low price guarantee, complimentary gift boxes, and gift cards for your golfer, it's the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Add convenient online shopping and effortless after-Christmas return policy, and you'll see why the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is the #1 choice for golfers everywhere. Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway or online at hagenoaks.com.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
For over 90 years, Hagen Oaks has partnered with the biggest brands in golf to bring cutting-edge technology to your game. Our one-of-a-kind total game fitting offers a level of experience and precision that is unmatched. From driver to putter, footwear to golf balls, our TrackMan-powered performance studios, 3D footwear scanner, and Ping's Ballnamic ball fitting kiosk ensure every piece of your gear is tailored to your swing. Trust the experts at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Total game fitting starts here.
Guys, leave weight gain, low T, and ED in 2025. For a limited time, Revive Men's Health Sacramento is offering free full diagnostic panels, a $400 value. It checks testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. Plus, qualified patients get up to 25% off select treatments now through year end. Call 916-619-3000. That's 916-619-3000. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
The holidays can be a time of increased stress for those struggling with opioid or stimulant addiction. They can also be a time for pause, reflection, opportunity, and new beginnings. This holiday season, choose treatment and recovery. Embrace the company of family and friends and create special moments. Find a proven opioid or stimulant addiction treatment provider near you at choosechangeca.org.
There's the hard way to buy a car, and then there's the Hoblet way. Transparent prices, fast paperwork, and a team that's there to help, not hover. We've spent 77 years refining this process so you can get in, get out, and get driving with zero drama. Car buying doesn't have to be stressful. At least, not when you do it the Hoblet way. Experience the difference at HobletDodge.com. The easy way to buy.
Right? Because Wemby's going to need the ball. Are you still going to play through Sabonis? So we were actually talking about Domantas Sabonis and the Miami Heat because there had been thoughts about pairing Sabonis with Bam Adebayo, and I asked our guy Dan Favale if he thought that made sense, and he said, I don't know that makes sense, but I've also thought about Domantas Sabonis and Wemby on the same team. So what does that look like, right? You moving off of one of your untouchables if you are the Spurs. I'm going to need Carter Bryant. I'm going to need that. And I'm gonna need one of them.
I'm leaving here with something.
I'm leaving here with one of those guards. It could be De'Aaron. It could be, they're talking about Clay going back to the Warriors, okay? Because Cannon says, Dad, if he's talking to Steph, I was reading this article, he's talking to Steph, and Clay's playing on the Mavericks, and I guess Steph will yell, shoot it, Clay, and Cannon will say, Dad, why aren't you there? Why aren't you playing with Clay? He still doesn't understand that they're not playing on the same team anymore. So look, if we're going to return everybody, I'm leaving here with Carter Bryant, and I'm leaving here with one of them guards. You pick one. Just like they did with Tyrese and De'Aaron, you pick one. Hey, you tell us which one you're sending. I'll do it the opposite way. I'm the Kings. We need Carter Bryant. You send us one of them. You pick.
First of all, how ironic would it be if they did Sabonis gets traded at the end for the equivalent of a Halliburton? That would be kind of a funny exit. But I'm telling you right now, Allen, they not getting, if they're not willing
to, one of them.
If they're not willing to put Harper and Castle in a Giannis trade, they ain't putting one of them in a Sabonis deal. I'm telling you.
And I don't know that that's true.
Look, you're walking out of here with Sohan.
He doesn't play.
You're walking out of here with Carter Bryant.
Okay.
Vassell or Keldon.
I can't get away from this Vassell guy.
No, maybe Keldon. Could be one of the two. Maybe Harrison Barnes.
Are these guys all 27 years old? I feel like they've all been the same age for the last 7 years.
Let's see.
That whole Spurs previous young regime thing. All of them are about to be 30 or 26 or whatever. But no, Kyle.
Keldon is 26. Vassell is 25.
That's actually, how tall is he?
Vassell?
Yeah.
6'5".
Nah, no. I'm tell you what I need right now, Kyle. I already told you. I need Carter, and you pick one of the three. You Spurs, you pick one of the three.
Well, there's no point in adding Sabonis if you can't keep all three.
That's not true.
Sabonis is at best the fourth best player on that team. I'm sorry, at third best player on that team, right?
I need Carter. You pick one of the three. Or give me a pick. Or give me a couple picks.
I would rather I would rather have Castle or Harper, but assuming there's no way the Spurs would give those guys up for Sabonis, then yeah, I would just go the picks route.
Yeah, fine.
Which, again, is what they should have done in the De'Aaron Fox trade.
But I need Carter. And I need one of the three, but if you refuse, I need two picks. Unprotected.
You know what's actually funny now in hindsight? I know it's your guy, so I feel like we can joke about this, but when the Fox trade was going down, it was like, oh, we if we can't get Castle, we'll get Vassell or Keldon Johnson or Sohan or Champagny. And the one they actually were willing to give up was Sidi Sissoko. And then the Kings were like, actually, no, we don't want him.
And you know what? I can't wait to talk about Sidi Sissoko later in the show because, look, man, he's actually playing on – I don't know if he's going to be on Prop Talk, but I would take a look at Sidi Sissoko tonight. Sidi Sissoko revenge game. Because you didn't even let my plane land and you sent me off to Washington or wherever the heck you went.
I will just say, just for you, Allen, I know it's the season of giving – if the guy who bought the one Sidi Sissoko Kings jersey in existence, because I saw it on the internet, I know it exists. If that guy is willing to reach out to me, I will pay almost any dollar amount for the Sidi Sissoko Kings jersey.
Kyle, pretty sure you can't do this on the air.
I know, but I'm just saying. Sidi Sissoko Kings jersey, there was one in existence, and I want Allen to have it because you are now Sacramento's number one Sidi Sissoko fan.
It's going down tonight. I'm going to tell you right now. And you better hope, if he's on Prop Talk, oh my goodness, it's going down because they did not let the plane land. Okay? They said, no, we don't want you.
That's not fair, Allen. He did one interview with Chris Peterman in the background.
So that's all coming up tonight. Another thing, Kyle, I think that Dan and I are right there on the point guard assessment and where the Kings could go. We also agreed on the Zach LaVine, Michael Porter Jr. thing. I don't know why I didn't think of this sooner, but Dan also added that Michael Porter Jr. is bigger and actually defends. So he gave Zach LaVine a nod because of the shot creation. But I don't know. I mean, I've been watching Zach LaVine, and I don't think the shot creation is incredible. Not enough to say, yeah, I want to pay $10 million more for that for the worst defender, but he is the better shot creator. I'll just go get Michael Porter Jr. and deal with him and his podcast for the next 2 years.
See, what's so confusing about the whole Zach LaVine, Michael Porter Jr. thing is the Nets have younger players, but both teams have the same record. Like, the idea that Zach LaVine couldn't be doing what Michael Porter Jr. is doing right now on the Nets.
No, man.
And look, maybe that's just because Westbrook got to have the ball.
Maybe that's fair. Maybe you're right. But again, it's just so funny that the Kings have put themselves in a bad situation where they can't even show off their assets. So to that end, Kyle, to that point, these moves that they made at the beginning of the season have completely hindered their ability to showcase some of their guys. If you say we're going to stink anyway, we're not going to get Westbrook. And yeah, he did some cool stuff and had some triple doubles early in the season, but you're right. You're taking the ball out of his hands. You already had Dennis Schroeder, who you weren't really trying to showcase. You just traded for him. But between the guys that you already had attempting to showcase, it was already going to be tough showcasing DeMar and Zach LaVine because there's a redundancy there, okay? Then you add in Dennis Schroeder, and I'll excuse the Dennis Schroeder thing, not the contract, but the idea of going and getting a point guard. But then when you add Westbrook, to your point, same record, but it's Michael Porter Jr. and a bunch of young dudes and Nick Claxton, and he just gets the chuck all day, and he's driving up his value. Meanwhile, the Kings are fighting each other for buckets where Malik has to decide, no, I'm shooting this ball because I don't know when I'm going to get it back. And DeMar DeRozan saying, well, it's my turn now today to shoot the ball. And then Zach LaVine says, well, I haven't shot in a couple days, so now I want to shoot the ball. So they're not even they're not even in a position to raise their value. They're playing a lot of minutes, but the minutes don't add up to good showcasing, if you will.
So where I'm stuck on the Michael Porter Jr., Zach LaVine swap situation is, what is Brooklyn even getting out of it? Like, that seems like a classic situation where the Kings would have to attach something to make that deal because Zach LaVine makes more money. And the Michael Porter Jr. experiment is going great.
No. I'm not saying. I'm just comparing both of them to other teams. I'm not saying to trade for Michael Porter Jr.
Okay. Sorry. I thought you were saying I would rather have Michael Porter Jr. right now than
No.
experiment.
I mean, I would, but I'm not saying to do that deal. I'm saying now that we're looking at trades, why would anybody trade for Zach LaVine when you can just trade for Michael Porter Jr.?
Got it. So you're saying if both are the two options on the table for a Milwaukee, then why would Milwaukee?
Why?
No, yeah, absolutely. You're taking Michael Porter Jr. like 10 out of 10 times, but the price tag is probably a little higher for Michael Porter Jr. right now than a Zach LaVine. Because let's say it's Milwaukee's still got to do the same Kyle Kuzma, Bobby Portis framework, which are useless to Brooklyn right now. So even if you still have to include those pieces, if Brooklyn's asking for the 2031 unprotected pick, if I'm Milwaukee, why am I trading a 2031 unprotected pick for Galaxy Brain dude?
Right. It might, in a weird way, because we know what the money is with Zach LaVine, and he will be expiring next season. In a weird way, Michael Porter Jr., did we just come all the way back around to 180 to say Michael Porter Jr. might be playing too well, that he's priced himself out from other teams? So as far as the draft assets and other things, and he is on a better contract, so they might say, well, let's go get Zach LaVine because we know that we're not going to have to pay the Kings as much because his contract is worse.
It all depends on what Brooklyn's asking for Michael Porter Jr. I don't even know what I would pay for Michael Porter Jr. at this point. But if Brooklyn's asking for like multiple first-round picks, then I'm not going to trade for Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah, the different paths and models that we've seen to lead to contention. A lot of people say the Blazers have been on that path, but maybe we should pump the brakes a little bit. Them brothers are 10-16. Let's talk about it. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon.
Hello?
You won't believe where I am.
Are you running?
Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus, 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing. Mom, how do you feel? I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture, and then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with autopay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Just announced, Stockton Honda has been named #1 of California's best car dealers in 2025 by USA Today and Statista. This prestigious award is based on thousands of customer reviews and recommendations, ranking dealerships for service, value, and satisfaction. Out of hundreds evaluated, Stockton Honda is proud to be #1, recognized for all-around excellence and commitment to our customers. Visit Stockton Honda, where reputation meets the road.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Was the night before Fasteners Inc.'s 12 Days of Christmas sale. And all through the store, not a DeWalt tool was marked with a deal you could ignore. The bare tools and toolkits were stacked with great care in hopes that our DeWalt markdowns would stop shoppers mid-stare. So dash in today. Don't wait, don't delay. Fasteners Inc.'s 12 Days of Christmas sale live now through Christmas Eve day. Stop by 6701 Power Inn Road for massive savings on DeWalt products now through the 24th. Fasteners Inc. Better tools, better prices.
Listen to the 49ers Red Zone Report daily, brought to you by Mountain Mike's Pizza, the official pizza of the 49ers. Mountain Mike's Pizza, pizza the way it ought to be.
Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with primetime football. It's back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game and high-hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game, offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com, and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
When value matters, Elk Grove Chevrolet delivers. Right now, lease a new Chevrolet Silverado LT for $250 per month plus tax. The Silverado 1500 stands out with composed handling, competitive towing, payload, roomy cabin, and fuel economy. Visit myelkgrovechevrolet.com for full lease details. Don't miss your chance to drive the new Chevrolet Silverado. Stop by Elk Grove Chevrolet today and experience quality that goes the distance.
Sactown Sports would like to thank everyone who joined us at this year's annual Santa Parade. Special thanks to our sponsors who make it all possible, especially Western Health Advantage for the 11th straight year, Shriners, and Cal Auto Museum for Santa's fine ride. Cheers till next year.
Live and local.
It's Allen Stiles
on Sactown Sports.
Taking up to 2 p.m. Sorry, I was just cutting up these crumble cookies to take home to my family.
Oh, that's what we're calling it now.
I am.
He lost a lot of pounds. He was fat.
Yeah, well, I got time. Somebody asked me, Alan, how's it going? Getting ready for that wedding. So here's the kicker, Kyle.
He lost a lot of pounds. He was fat.
What they told me, I told my buddies, and they listened to the segment, and they were cracking up. And they said that the app or the site that we're using, you have those two kind of adjusters on the side. So they were like, Al, this is what you do. You order a bigger pant size, right? But then if you do lose the weight, you can just tighten the sides. So that's what you should do. But no. I'm ordering my normal size.
The size you are now.
I'm ordering the size that I was the last time I put on a tux.
Uh-oh.
So
you don't even want to remeasure?
It was like a year ago, or even less than that. Okay, I got the same dress pants that I wear to basically every game, so should be fine.
Okay, so you're getting.
I want to be able to tighten it from my normal size.
That's what I said, Alan, is that your incentive should be to take it to a tailor and say, hey, I need you to take this down a size.
But I'm saying I won't have to do that because they got the tighteners. Well, yeah, they got the tighteners.
Well, you also won't have to do that because of those nice plates.
Oh, well, yeah.
He lost a lot of pounds. He was fat.
The round table starts in 15 minutes, and I want everybody to send in their questions, okay, as we will be fully loaded today with all three of our editors. So, yeah, and it's going to be hot and heavy. I'll tell you that much. It's going to be a good time. So that's coming up in 15 minutes. Kyle, you did see that City Sissoko is on the props, you said?
City Sissoko props are available tonight. I can get you for 6.5 points.
Yeah.
1.5 made threes. He is a rotation player for the Portland Trailblazers, who, as you mentioned earlier in the show, 10-16, but also still slated to get in the play-in.
So, yeah, this is a team where we all early on in the season when they were playing well, hey, man, look how the Blazers have kind of turned this thing around. But now looking at it a couple months in, don't they kind of not make sense? Because you have obviously you got Denny, all right? Let's not forget, Drew Holiday is on an awful contract. And he's injured because he's 36 years old. And they have him for 2 more years after this.
Is he already 36?
Drew Holiday is, he's not any younger than 35.
That's crazy.
Drew Holiday is 35.
Okay, that's still older than I thought he was going to be 36 at the end of that contract. I didn't realize they're paying him till he's 38.
Drew Holiday turned 35 in June. So he's not a young or old 35, but he's 35.
Yeah, they got Denny Advia running the point right now.
Yeah, right. They got 2 sideline. They have Kyle. They are the Kings. They have 3 sideline point guards.
Yeah.
They have 3 point guards they're paying, and none of them are playing.
Yeah, Lillard,
Scoot, and
Drew. So now they're running Denny at the point. Donovan Klingon, by the way, you were ready to write him off. Donovan Klingon looks nice. Tamani Kamara feels like he's taken a step back this year, which is unfortunate because he was an all-defensive player last year, I think. But he's not having a great season so far. And I'm just looking at this box score from their win against the Warriors.
Yeah, me too.
I see 27 minutes for Chris Murray and 28 for CD Sissoko.
Crazy.
2 long-lost Kings. One day they will return.
Yeah, Chris Murray played 27 minutes, put up 5 points. CD played 28 minutes, put up 6. CD isn't really a scorer per se. He is kind of a do-it-all type of player. Yeah, it's just, Kyle, it's the same version. It's Shaedon Sharpe chucking, okay, and it's Jeremy Grant chucking, but you don't mind Jeremy Grant chucking because you're paying him so much dang money. So we did this thing where
we just don't even have a Denny Advia.
Right. Well, that's true. Yes, that's part of it. Denny had 26 points. Denny had 26 points, 8 rebounds or 8 assists because he's the point guard right now. And I think the Blazers, they're in a position where clearly I don't know why they signed Drew Holiday. They just wanted to move off of Anthony Simons, which, funny enough, feels like they could use Anthony Simons more than Drew Holiday right now since Denny's running the point anyway. But they didn't want to extend him. He was expiring. But the problem was you took on another bad contract for Drew?
The Drew Holiday one doesn't have to be a bad contract. It's just a bad contract right now because he's not playing. But Drew Holiday was killing it to start the season. I remember we were talking about looking at the West 8 or 10 games in, which obviously is pretty silly now. But Drew Holiday looked great when he was starting for Scoot, but now he's hurt and they don't have any point guard because Scoot hasn't played at all this year yet. He's still been out from the preseason.
Yeah, so we sat there and we gave them all these praises, but they really, looking back on it now, they have some assets to make this thing make more sense, but I think they're in a similar position. They got Denny, they locked down Tumani, they got Klingon, they got Shaedon, don't get me wrong, but they definitely have some decisions to make at the end of the season to make this roster make more sense, and they're just and the whole head coach thing as well. It's just a big fluctuation. But, yeah, as much as we're going to say, dang it, Kings, how come you didn't hold on to Sidy Cissoko? I don't think the Blazers necessarily want to be playing Sidy Cissoko 28 minutes a night, to be honest with you.
No, I mean, Sidy Cissoko, they've built up his value in such a way that, like, if they want him to be a rotation player, great. He's kind of like their Keon Ellis, except lengthier at this point, just in terms of what they got him for nothing. They picked him up when Washington waived him. So they picked him up from essentially a G leaguer, and now he's a rotation guy. So you take your wins, and kind of like Keon, if you can flip him for something. I just was looking up Scoot Henderson's injury timeline, and I found this article from the fan-sided Blazers page, and it's like, hey, if the Blazers wanted to go after one of these point guards, whether it's Trae Young or LaMelo or Ja Morant, just you could try and attach Scoot potentially in that deal.
Yes, when Dan was mentioning the Blazers and LaMelo, because he said if the Blazers did it, funny enough, if the Blazers did it, people would say very smart, even though the Blazers are 10-16. He was agreeing with us that the idea of what the Kings do just normally isn't looked at favorably, and there's a reason for that. When he said that, I thought, yeah, I mean, he didn't say Scoot's name, but Scoot would be in that deal.
Yeah, I'm also trying to remember, I think they got another pick from Memphis last year, because Memphis moved up and got Cedric, I keep messing up his name. Is it Cedric Coward or Cowser?
It's how can you forget? It's a unique name, Coward.
Yeah, but I keep thinking he's Colton Cowser on the Baltimore Orioles. So
don't know who that is.
Too many C's.
Okay.
Colton Cowser, Cedric Coward. Anyways, the point is they got an extra pick and took Yang Hansen, which, by the way, Yang Hansen, not looking too good so far, but I think he's in the G League right now. But anyways, they have plenty of draft picks to deal, because unlike the Kings, they don't want to stay bad. They are trying to find their way up right now. They don't intend to be in the lottery any longer at this point.
Yeah, and what's funny, and they have to make some decisions. You're saying that about the Blazers. The Jazz say they only want to be bad for one more year. So, hey, it does seem like a good time for the Kings to start tanking. Oh, all y'all want to start contending now? We'll be the dumpster for a couple years. And then not that Wemby's going anywhere, but then when things cool off, we'll make our way up after you've either gotten over the mountaintop or it hasn't worked out, and then you're coming back on the way. It's like an elevator.
Yeah.
Right? And right now the Kings are on the way down, okay? And some of these teams who were down are on the way up. So not everybody can be up. And the Jazz are saying, we're trying to be. Now, I don't know that I ever believe the Jazz, but the Jazz are saying we're going to be up next season or in the next 2 seasons. The Blazers think they're going to be up. So I just think it makes sense for the Kings and for teams like them and the Pelicans to say, you know what? Y'all have fun. We going to be down here rebuilding.
Yeah, but then it'll be someone else's turn on the elevator, which is just the nature of having only 15 spots and 10 playoffs. Is like, hey, now it's Dallas's turn on the elevator.
Oh, yeah, Dallas. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on down, Dallas. You're on the way down.
But as Kings fans know, the elevator doesn't always have to come back around for you. Like, you can just be stuck down at the bottom.
Well, that's literally what I was going to say, because we're bringing up an elevator when really with the Kings it's been an escalator, like that one friend that you have that tries to run up the escalator as it's going down and they just don't move. They're moving in place. That's what the Kings have been doing. So you got to take your medicine, stop messing around at the mall, okay, at the Arden Fair before you fall down, and the Kings have fallen down a couple times, and just ride it on down. And you can come back up when it's time.
Which, by the way, Allen, I just pulled up the Beam Team season standings. Guess who was at the bottom of the Western Conference that year? 15 Spurs, 14 Rockets, 13 Trailblazers, 11 Dallas Mavericks, who went back up and then went down already, and number 10, Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to give a shout out because people will send this, because you can send pictures. I know this is probably dangerous, but you can send pictures on the text line. So people do send them from time to time. And a lot of times it just kind of scares me because I'm afraid of what I'm going to see. But I wanted to read this one, Kyle, quickly from the 916. Trade successful from Spa Track. The Spurs acquire Domantas Sabonis and Keon Ellis. The Kings acquire Keldon Johnson, Kelly Olynyk, Stephon Castle, and Jeremy Sohan. if the Spurs didn't have to give up any picks and they gave up Stephon Castle, Keldon Johnson, Kelly Olynyk, and Jeremy Sohan, any world where they do that?
Yes, because these were literally the names we were discussing in the Fox trade.
All right, now we're getting you started again. Yeah, I think that's realistic, 916, but I don't know. The Spurs, they're going to maybe do this thing where they just want to spite people and say, we can do the 3-guard thing and make Stephon a point forward. So I don't know that they would do it, but they should do it. It would make a decent amount of sense. Let's hear what the roundtable guys have to say on the other side. More Allen Stiles coming up.
Tonight, Kings and Trailblazers. Team night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner.
Starts at 5:30 with tip-off at 7. Listen to your Sacramento Kings.
On the official home of Kings basketball, Sactown Sports 1140.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
Y'all gotta try that for Bree's car.
Just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency, all over Bree's car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah. Breathe happy for Breeze. La 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 la.
Call Maverick Electrical to claim your free furnace tune-up or electrical safety check with a donation. This month, donate 5 canned foods to Maverick Electric's Holiday Food Drive and get a free furnace tune-up or electrical safety check. They'll collect your cans at the appointment and make sure your heat stays comfy and your lights stay steady, so the only thing whistling is the kettle, not your ductwork. Visit callamaverick.com to schedule your free tune-up today.
What will a Maverick do? 'Cause you're a Maverick too.
Give to get with no gimmicks. Limited appointments. Some restrictions apply.
I'm Craig Ashton of the injury law firm of Ashton & Price. The winter months bring joy, but also with more rain and snow, unfortunately, more accidents. Over the last quarter century, thousands of Northern California residents have looked to Ashton & Price to be their root-off with a law license to guide them through the storm of an injury claim. As always, we wish you and your family the safest and happiest of holidays. But if you need us, at Ashton & Price, we're here for you. So whether you've been naughty or nice, happiest holidays from Ashton & Price.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Year-end pricing's in effect. Every vehicle's priced to sell before the new year during Happy Honda Days. At Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Get behind the wheel of your new Accord or Civic today. Own or lease during Happy Honda Days at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Visit us at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Don't you just love this time of year and the holidays when families get together to make memories? Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. From the time I was a youngster, the family table was always filled with a gathering of grandparents, aunts and uncles, brothers and sisters. Those are memories that will live with me forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings Holiday Home Sale going on right now gives you the opportunity to find the perfect holiday gift that will last a lifetime. You'll find unique gifts like gleaming accessories for every room, now 20% off. During Naturewood's Holiday Home Sale, you'll find savings all around the store for every room in your home. Find your perfect bit of Christmas for your home at Naturewood Home Furnishings Holiday Home Sale going on right now. The memories you make with your family will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Your local sports leader in the 916.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sactown Sports 1140. Your home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and vocal.
Allen Stiles on Sactown Sports.
Taking you up to 2 p.m. And we have our fully loaded roundtable today, okay? We have Brendan Nunez. We have Frankie Cardicelli. We have Chris Watkins for the next hour, okay? The next hour for your listening pleasure. And, of course, look, the main thing is here, guys. The 48 hours have come and gone. I know I was big on this. I thought a move was going to be made because, of course, I thought a move was going to be made. Is anybody surprised that nothing happened? Did anybody think that something was going to happen?
Not just King specific, even. I would
just
say
in
that.
general.
Yeah. I would say
Just
that.
in general.
I would say that. Yeah. I would say that definitely. In terms of just nothing happening, like I think you probably were someone who was pushing, Dennis Schroeder. He got traded December 15th last year. I'm assuming a lot of the talk was probably that he might get moved again this year, but. Scott Perry kind of got in front of it a little bit with on these airwaves and said, December 15th is just a date and people are making it bigger than it truly is. But I think across the league, I am pretty surprised that we've seen absolutely nothing. There was 90 plus guys who were available to trade and just absolutely crickets.
Has there been a trade, I don't want to say a significant, but a noteworthy trade made this year to this point? In general, during the regular season? I mean, has there been one so far, period? Nothing comes to top of my mind. I mean, I just feel like as far as I think it was I think that wasn't the regular season, but it was the end of training camp last year or 2 years ago. We were in a meeting downstairs and I think Dame got traded from Portland to Milwaukee. Stuff like that. There hasn't been a big move yet that's kind of been okay, what's next?
No.
And nothing on the Kings front as well. There's rumors galore. I know that you guys have probably talked about every rumor, every single crumble.
We don't do too much of that on this show.
No pun intended, as there's 2 stacks of crumble cookies next to me. Every
I'm
crumble.
home 12. Yeah.
Oh, you're not taking those home.
I am.
You're going to hurt
He
yourself.
lost a lot of pounds. He was fat.
He will eat the table.
He lost a lot of pounds. He was fat.
Yeah. Well, we've been calling it the Dennis Schroeder rule, right? The last 48 hours, how he was traded to the Warriors last season and then, of course, was traded again. But nobody cared, Brendan. Nobody seemed to care too much about the Dennis Schroeder rule, which I thought was a good opportunity to essentially try something out. I thought DeMar DeRozan would have been perfect for the Dennis Schroeder rule to get traded to some team that thinks they're a contender. I mean, the Raptors, they're involved in everyone right now. Then if it doesn't work out, just move him somewhere else. But I guess there's always an opportunity or a situation where it takes 2 to tango, and nobody wants to be stuck with something. But with DeMar being semi-expiring with that $10 million, he seemed like a guy that could have been a Dennis Schroeder rule situation, or even a Malik Monk. So I was a bit surprised. I know in general, but specifically with the Kings, there is nobody to just bite and say, if it doesn't work, I think we can find somebody else. It did not bode well for the value conversation with the Kings. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I think that's definitely what it speaks to is the value of these guys. Obviously the Kings are attempting to shop them and see what they can get for specifically Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Dennis Schroeder. I would guess Malik Monk falls into that as well, potentially Domantas Sabonis. And if there were other teams chomping at the bits, probably already make a move by now. And so I think that the whole it takes 2 to tango is really what's at play here. You got to find you guys have done the exercise plenty of times, as have we. It's hard to find where these guys fit. And you identify in Milwaukee, and they're in their own situation of, are they going to keep Giannis? And you don't trade for a Zach or DeMar if you're questioning that much. Now, there is a world where you do that in order to convince him to try to stay. But if that's not enough, then what? Are you trading a draft pick just to trade away your top player? So the Clippers, a really tough cap situation. New York, a tough cap situation. A lot of teams are sort of backed against these aprons. And I think it just makes for a really tough scenario. So I think that essentially you're waiting on other teams to get a little bit desperate, it feels like.
Yeah, and the Kings don't want to be that desperate team. Michael Scotto with an absolute banger this morning
on
when
YouTube.
It comes to Michael Scotto.
Yes. No. Sorry.
You're talking about
Don't mind
Danforth
me.
Valley?
Don't mind me. Yeah,
Danforth Valley.
Danforth Valley.
Danforth
My
Valley was
fault.
on with
My
us.
fault. My
Michael
fault.
Scotto had a banger from Hoops Hype this morning, and we were talking about that as well. The Keon Ellis conversation comes back up again, guys, with somebody that I've been grinding film on Jarris Walker, and that's a name that's been kind of...
Is there film to grind
Oh,
on
there's
Jarris Walker?
there's plenty of film to grind.
A lot of film.
on Jarris Walker. And, I keep on talking to different people, Chris, and I keep on trying to convince everyone that he could get moved, Keon, for a late first rounder. That's what Sam Amick brought up. But everyone we have on continues to say, unfortunately, he's probably going to be a sweetener. That's just what it seems like, or maybe a couple second rounders. And I wish that wasn't the case, but yeah, it feels like because of his contract, this whole Keon's got all this conversation and value and all this, it might just be more helpful to move off of a bad contract versus Keon by himself. The Thunder giving you the 26th pick or whoever. I think it was the Lakers got the 26th or 27th, and they were interested. Still doesn't seem like that could be the case, which I was hopeful, but every time we talk to somebody, they say, I just don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense to me. Like, it's just tough to extract an incredible amount of value when you're trading just a $5 million contract.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you either have to receive a contract that is equally as valuable in your eyes, and that can maybe be if you just feel like, to use your example, Jarris Walker is just a strained asset out there. Like, that makes some sense if that. But even then, if you're trading Keon Ellis for Jarris Walker, like, Keon is still better in playing more than Jarris Walker. And, like, you probably, if you're the King side, feel like you should be getting, I don't know, a late protected first round. Like, you should still be getting something. And so I think it's just Keon's value is tough to match from the Kings' perspective. And if they want to just get something for Keon, like, they absolutely can do a 1-for-1. But realistically, the way that you maximize Keon's trade value is by saying, hey, you look at this asset as distressed or as a negative asset. Well, the addition of Keon now brings this to either a neutral or maybe even slightly positive for you. And so I think that's more what it's about, is if you're talking about maximizing the value, which the Kings frankly should be in the business of, maximizing the value of all their guys, it's Keon being used to make something unattractive at least digestible, I would say.
And it's funny because, like, this is a whole conversation taking place, and this is a different one. But also, there's you could just play him. You could just find a way to play him and maybe find a way.
That's nuts.
I mean,
crazy take.
How are you supposed to do that?
And maybe were you alluding to Sam's interview this morning on with the morning show? He was on video. Sure. I'm sure he was. A lot of people coming on to talk about Keon Ellis on Sactown Sports 1140. But Sam Amick this morning, always great insight, said today that he's a popular name and that a lot of teams can, shocking and breaking here, can use a 3-and-D type of player. You know who we could use a player like that themselves? Sacramento Kings. Yeah. And that kind of puts us back in just a conversation we've beaten into a pulp at this point, is that there's just nowhere to play him right now. And you have all these veterans, all these guys who Precious Achiuwa said yesterday Russell Westbrook was his favorite player growing up. I mean, that's kind of an issue. Like, that's really cool. But at the same time, like, Westbrook has been one of the more exciting parts of his season. But you have Westbrook, you have Malik Monk, you have DeMar DeRozan, you have Dennis Schroeder. All these guys are going to get playing time ahead of Keon Ellis. So that's the frustrating part, is where the Kings going to be at the deadline or after the deadline. They might need more players that fit that mold. Well, they have one right now who's on a cheaper contract, and is there a path forward to an extension after everything that's happened? Who knows? I mean, the word is that the Kings do like Keon. It's kind of hard to see that when he doesn't play, but at the same time, there are a lot of veterans that need to be figured out in the next couple of weeks. And like you said, December 15th, maybe we envisioned or thought it'd be nice to have some trades kind of happen to unclog things, but no, we're going to have to probably wait a little bit longer.
So that's a perfect segue here, Frankie, because it's not just about the idea of waiting for a trade. If we don't know when a trade is going to happen, we're just going to be stuck in this Groundhog Day of playing these vets 38 minutes. We talked a lot earlier this week about Doug's quotes. And Brendan, I know you're always locked in at the practices and in the locker room getting quotes and things like that. Doug has changed his narrative, if you will, right? And the voice that he is using is very much about the young guys. We've had this conversation time and time again, but I want to have it now because Doug is saying we got to focus on the young guys and the youth and making sure that they're in a good position throughout the season and that they improve. Are we now to the point where we might see some changes when it comes to rotations? Zach LaVine is popping in, popping out of lineups. Dennis Schroeder's popping in, popping out of lineups. It is what it is. If they're injured, they're injured. But are we to the point now where we might start seeing some organic changes in the rotations? Do you believe that? Because for Doug to say all the stuff he's saying and then play these guys 35 minutes again, well, Doug, you're saying one thing and doing another.
Yeah, and I kind of think that's been a trend this year, to be honest. Like, Doug's tone has changed, to your point. He's really emphasized the importance of developing the young guys. I think it started when Keegan came back and DeMar said this is Keegan's team, and then not long after you heard Doug mention Keegan, like, oh, well, it's hard at the beginning of the year. You're missing your number one option. I'm like, oh, Keegan's the number one guy, huh? Because it doesn't really feel like that when he's out there. And so, you know, maybe it's curious because when he mentions the importance of developing young guys, he goes down the line a little bit and mentions Neek, Max, and Devin. Didn't mention Keon for what it's worth. He's 25.
Devin?
He did mention Devin. Devin, definitely a young guy, second year in the league.
No, I know he is.
Cooked in the G League the other night.
I didn't know they knew Devin was still on the team.
Yeah, Devin's still out there. But another part of yesterday was Deuce asking Doug about, you know, managing the minutes of, I think this is what led to that answer, is managing the minutes of some of the older players as well. It's a combination of both, obviously, and you're running, you know, there's that game where Russ plays 40 minutes, DeMar's playing 38 on certain nights, and it feels like that's where the answer should be, of you're not just totally cutting someone else out the rotation. It's not Malik Monk just sitting on the bench. It's play DeMar, play Zach 5 less minutes a night, and give those 10 to Keon, you know, I think would be the logic, but so the tone has changed, and I want to think that would mean that it will come with changes, but I think this has been the case for a little while, and honestly, I'm at the point where I feel like we've heard Doug a couple times be like, I think that we probably need to develop the young guys more and blah, 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 and I don't think we've seen any changes. So in my mind, I don't expect rotational changes until there's roster changes.
Yeah, because sitting there and saying that, and then Neek gets 13 minutes, what are we talking about? Right. What are we talking about? Another name that doesn't get brought up at all, Chris, is the fact that Scott Perry has been on this station about 3 different times, okay? And it's not our fault, per se. It's just where we're headed, right? Scott Perry's been on this station on the morning show, on my show, and on the afternoon show. He's talked to the media multiple times. Nobody asks him about Domantas Sabonis. Just nobody cares, right? Sam Amick comes out and he says Domantas Sabonis is, I'm paraphrasing, but is willing to wait through the trade deadline, or is kind of is heeding that message of patience. But I don't know, Chris. My thought process is Domantas Sabonis knows that his value is down. He's been injured, right? And he's to the point now where I'm going to just get through this season, get my value back up, and then I'm going to get up out of here, because Scott Perry has not once said, we are building around Sabonis. We are doing anything. He just doesn't get brought up. It's all about the young guys. He's coming on the station saying it's going to take time. If I'm Domantas Sabonis, what are we talking about?
I think he's hoping for a gap year. If I had to put myself in Sabonis's shoes, I would guess that he's essentially saying, like, I will give you this season to get it right, and if not, like, then I'm going to make things publicly difficult. And I think right now he's probably, I mean, it's just tough right now because it's a little bit of, you know, what if Sabonis is going to demand a trade, like, you know, yeah, he might. I don't know. It doesn't feel like he has much power in the situation
right now.
Like, it doesn't really, like, it's kind of, and we've talked about, you know, how currently this is maybe a product of what certain people in that locker room created, but I think pretty much right now, if I'm Domantas Sabonis, I'm looking at this season. Obviously, the Kings only have 6-20 at this point in the season. Like, we can talk about the plan, whatever. I don't care. I'm not going to discuss it. But, you know, there is no illusion that this season really is worth saving. I would think, if anything, Sabonis is hoping for what it was his first quote-unquote season here in Sacramento. It was a little half season in Sacramento with De'Aaron Fox where that team wasn't successful, didn't reach the playoffs, but the second half of that season, we saw signs of life, like the heartbeat kind of started to beep a little bit, and I think it got some momentum and some excitement for the season next. And I think that's definitely the best that he can hope for this season, is that I'm not playing this first half of the season. This is terrible. Whatever. Who knows when he's going to come back, but I think when he does come back, it's going to be intentional, and it's going to probably be for lack of a better term, on his terms. And like I said, I think he's going to take the second half of the year, if he does play, however much he plays, to probably test the waters, see if there's anything there that he feels like they can build on. And more than likely, I think we all see the writing on the wall. I think it's really just like he understands that he doesn't have much value, and there's probably, in terms of the priority list of getting guys out the door, there's like 3 to 4 other guys who just make way more sense to get out of the door before him. So I think realistically, I mean, he's in a bind. You could say he put himself into this bind, but I think the reality is there's no way out for a lot of these guys, and that you can ask, you can complain, you can go up to the front office every day and have conversations with Scott Perry. I just don't know if the reality is that he can be moved, because it takes 2 to tango. It takes another team to have interest. Hopefully it is the Raptors. I think the Kings are going to promote as much of those talks as possible, because I firmly believe they want him gone. I mean, you laid it out there. I think we all know this thing, and like Brendan said, I don't think this thing really gets going until people start getting out of the door. And so, yeah, I mean, it kind of just feels like they're all in a waiting game right now, and it's, they're at the DMV, and they're all just waiting for their number to get called. Yeah. And whoever gets their number called first, they're going to leap out of their seat and say, "This is my ticket. I'm getting out of here. I'm going up to the line," and I'm thrilled. And that's what it feels like right now.
The Chicago Bulls are buying a ticket.
My God.
They're buying a ticket. But also, you talked about it enough, and we talked about, I'm sure, Sabonis' contract ad nauseum, but he does have he has 2 more years of $45+ million after this year. So when you look at Zach LaVine, who makes a lot of money and has that player option hanging over his head, I do think there are teams, and the Milwaukee Bucks have been rumored from multiple people now who are interested in maybe as a last-ditch effort to kind of provide Giannis with help. I'm not sure if Zach LaVine's quite the type of player that Giannis might need to stick around in Milwaukee, but maybe there's a team that's aggressive and says, we need shooting. We really need some outside shooting. We'll take Zach LaVine, and maybe we'll pay him $48 million next year, and that's worth it to us. But Sabonis, it might be a little easier for him to, like we talked about, if he's going to be patient, he doesn't really have a choice, because a year from now, that's a half season and 1 more year. That's a lot easier, in my opinion, to stomach from a team if you're going to trade for. If he's playing at the top of his game, a Domantas Sabonis is going to be 18, 14, and 5 a night. Like, that's worth it, in my opinion, for a team that needs a big that can be versatile. So I feel like on the Sabonis topic of things, and Jason and Dave talked about it yesterday about maybe there's a way the Kings can have a rebuild and keep Sabonis. I don't know if they really have a choice right now. I feel like that the other moves we've talked about, DeRozan, LaVine, Schroeder, Monk, all those can be resolved in the next couple of weeks to 2 months. But Domantas Sabonis probably won't be unless a team like a Toronto or Chicago gets aggressive. And there are players in Toronto that I think are intriguing. I think RJ Barrett is the one that you talked about. I mean, Scott Perry helped draft him in New York, and there seems to be some affinity there. And the Kings could use wings. They always could use players of that ilk. So maybe there's something there. But at the same time, like we talked about, teams aren't desperate enough to really kind of say, okay, we're going to part with these pieces, because Toronto, a lot's going well for them right now. They've been one of the surprises of the league so far.
3 seed.
So why would they tear it down and pick apart a rotation? Like right now, you're looking at they're making around the edges type of inquiries. They're looking at Nick Richards in Phoenix. That's the kind of move they're looking to make right now to kind of bolster that front court. But if they really say, hey, we're in February and we have a chance to finish top 3 still, maybe it's time to swing for the fences. Maybe they kind of pick the phone up and say, hey, Scott, like, Domas is looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, and I think that's the main part of this, because we were talking about how the Nets have been so good with giving these players good opportunities to just build their value, right? Hey, we stink, but just go out there and chuck, right? And they did it with they did it with Mikal Bridges, and they got a bunch of picks. They did it with Cam Johnson, and it got him a first-round pick. And it got them Michael Porter Jr., and now Michael Porter Jr. is balling out. And we were just talking about how if I'm the Bucks or somebody like that, I'm probably looking at Michael Porter Jr. before I'm looking at Zach LaVine. Both 2 years, he's bigger, he defends more. Zach LaVine may be a slightly better shot creator. So this is the Nets' plan that they've done. Conversely, the Kings aren't in a position to do that right now because they got a bunch of dudes stepping on each other's toes. When they start that rebuild process, and they are possibly unable to move Sabonis, at least at that point, it can be the Domantas Sabonis show, along with A.J. Debinca and Keegan Murray, where they say, hey, Domantas Sabonis clearly is on a different timeline, but he's putting up triple-doubles every day, and make himself more attractive to certain teams. That's what we've seen other teams do. Because right now, nobody is being showcased because, and then on top of that, they added Russell Westbrook. So nobody's being showcased right now, and it's not helping. So to your point, Frankie, can you imagine even what Domantas Sabonis' value would be if he was having the season he had even last season or definitely the season prior? Then, I mean, the interest would be much better, but he's not even playing right now. And when he has played, it hasn't looked like the Domantas Sabonis of old. So he has, honestly, nothing going for him right now besides his wine in Napa. So, he's got to hang around, get his value right. What's so funny, Brendan?
I'm just laughing at the wine.
Oh, I'm just saying.
He does love his wine. I'm not
saying.
denying it.
No, yeah, I love grapes. So get your value right, and we'll see what happens. And I do think, they can, along the way, go get a young center, and he can kind of mentor them in that way, too, because you got to get other guys. So, I am at peace with the Domantas Sabonis thing. I would be surprised if he gets moved, but anything's possible. The biggest reason I'd be surprised is because he's not playing right now, and when he has played, he has not really played well.
I think that he would really benefit a rookie coming in if there was one of these star players that they managed to get high in the draft. Like, you could see how AJ would fit playing off of Domas, for example. Boozer may be a little bit more complicated, but like some of these guys, you can see how the fit would work. But I think the larger question here that relates to Domas, but really the direction of the team in general, is like, what are you eventually trying to do? Are they trying to win a championship, or are they trying to be respectable? When he says we want to build a
sustainable,
sustained success.
Sustained success. What does that mean? Does that mean a championship, or does that mean we want to be in the playoffs every year? Because if it's the latter,
I think it's the latter.
Then I think that has a lot to do with how you approach the Sabonis situation. If you're trying to win a championship, you tear it down and reset. If you're trying to just get back into the playoffs and be respectable again, then you keep a guy like that around. And I think that's a larger question that's really hard to figure out with this team.
Yeah, that's a good point. And it kind of leads us into some of this stuff. I mean, Dan Favale brought up, I asked him about the Bam Adebayo thing because, people were saying maybe that would work in Miami. And he said, one thing I've thought about, not to start stuff, but he said, I like him with Wemby.
Yeah, which was crazy.
The idea of it with Wemby, not that it would happen, but those are the types of things. Double down, triple down, quadruple down, or tear it all down. That's what we're going to talk about on the other side. Is there a name out there that the guys think would make sense to keep this thing rolling, but in a respectable way? Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto-pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
So you need last-minute gifts. No judgment. Get an extra 25% off during Kohl's Friends and Family Sale and find great gifts under $20. Like something cozy, something thoughtful, something that says, you planned this all along. Yep, you're just one quick trip away from checking off the last gifts on your list. Save now at Kohl's and Kohl's.com. Select styles. Offer ends December 24th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
The Travel Guys, new on KHTK 1140 every Saturday at 11 a.m.
We'll make you a smarter traveler. Tips you can use on the road and at the airport, plus reports from top consumer advocates.
The Travel Guys, 11 a.m. on Sactown Sports 1140.
The clock is ticking. This holiday season, give the gift they'll really love. A new Honda from Northern California's best Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Happy Honda days are happening right now. Score big with low payments, top trade-in value, and a huge selection of new Hondas, all at Stockton Honda.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Based on the results of the study recognized on June 18, 2025, USA Today's list of California's top car dealers 2025.
Hi, this is Greg Papa. Disasters hit every day. If your home, business, or building has suffered from any disaster, SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to and letting your focus be on what's most important, your family or your business. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. Yes, SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
Listen to the 49ers Red Zone Report daily, brought to you by Mountain Mike's Pizza, the official pizza of the 49ers. Mountain Mike's Pizza, pizza the way it ought to be.
Guys, leave weight gain, low T, and ED in 2025. For a limited time, Revive Men's Health Sacramento is offering free full diagnostic panels, a $400 value. It checks testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. Plus, qualified patients get up to 25% off select treatments now through year end. Call 916-619-3000. That's 916-619-3000. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. Chad, what's going on for Hoblet's Wrap the Year Up sales event?
Get the best kind of gift, the kind that saves you money. Right now, save up to $13,500 off MSRP on the new 2026 heavy-duty Ram 25 and 3500s. And a little extra Christmas treat, no payments for 90 days.
Did you just say $13,500 off MSRP and no payments for 90 days on new 2026 Ram heavy duties?
Yep, 2026 is what I said, with some starting as low as $47,599. Plus, we have the best selection in Northern California, with over 400 new Ram trucks available and hundreds more on the way.
Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
$14,500 total net savings on select new 2026 Ram 2500 Laramie after $3,500 factory rebates and $10,000 dealer discounts. Rebates include $2,000 holiday select inventory, $500 on the job upfit, must show eligible upfit. $47,599 starting price on Ram 2500 Tradesman. VIN number 190143. 5 is net savings. See dealer for details.
Country in the Park is back. May 8th and 9th at Cal Expo. Miranda Lambert, John Party, Chris Young, Turnpike Troubadours, Dylan Scott, and more. Tickets start at only $68. It's the perfect Christmas gift for the live music fan in your life. Country in the Park, May 8th and 9th at Cal Expo with the California Office of Traffic Safety and Caltrans, Michelob Ultra, and Bare Bones Workwear. More info at CITPFest.com.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140.
on Sactown Sports.
$10 a.m., 2 p.m., 30 more minutes with the guys. And we are talking all things Kings here in the Kings Roundtable. Let's get your questions, comments, concerns with the Sacramento Kings. And we were just talking about you guys and how you've been so diligent going to games. I've made it when I can, of course. But what is the vibe right now, just as far as the X's and O's standpoint, right? I mean, are we sitting there and we're wanting to hear from Doug as far as does anybody care whether or not they win tonight? You know what I mean? And obviously they do, but is this more about, for Doug, let's make sure we see something from Neek, or let's make sure whatever it is. Like if DeMar goes for 40 and they win, I guess that helps his trade value a little bit, maybe, but I'm just trying to help Kings fans as far as the Whitey checklist, if you will. And what do you think the Kings' actual checklist is inside of that building?
I mean, I think they're still trying to win as many games as possible. Like that is Doug Christie's job when it comes down to it, is optimize this team, get the most wins out of it that you can. And so I think it kind of gets lost in all this, and I don't think he's done a very good job, to be honest. But this is also a learning experience for Doug, and he's trying to feel out ideal rotations and the way to go about all of this. But yeah, I mean, I think that they are trying to win games, and maybe that means, like, I don't think that when you hear this shift to we want to focus on developing players, I don't think that's at the cost of winning games. Like if a guy is out there and makes a few too many mistakes, he's probably going to get pulled. It's not going to be a short leash of one and you're out of here. But I think that if DeMar or Zach feels like a better option that night, they're definitely going to go to that. And more often than not, they probably are at this point. So, yeah, I mean, I think they're definitely trying to win games. To your X's and O question, like, I'm a guy that's typically trying to ask those type of things post-game, and I have no clue how to go about it right now, to be honest, because it's hard. They're losing the same way every game. It feels like there's just one quarter where you're like, what the heck just happened?
Yeah.
And so it's hard to break some of that stuff down sometimes when it's just repetitive in the way that they're losing games. But yeah, I mean, I think that, again, that is Doug's job. And I think that they are very much trying to win as many games as possible.
And I think people should fan how they want to fan. Like, I don't want to sit here and say, here's what you should look for, what you should watch for. Like, I can tell you what I tell my family to watch for.
Sure.
And that's just like, I say, look at the young guys like Max Reynaud, look at Nate Clifford. If Keon gets in the game, if those guys do well, I think Whitey kind of, in a sense, that's what Whitey put down. Did they play well? Like, that's kind of the big thing that matters. But one thing that I would say to Brendan's point, these guys are still trying to win games, whether it looks like it or not. And whether the results are there or not, they don't care about the Kings draft or position, or half these guys might not even be here in 2 months. Like, why would they care at all about, hey guys, like, draft position's important though? Maybe no one on the floor cares about that. I don't think anybody in the locker room cares about that. So they're not approaching these games with the intention of losing, which is why it's so alarming, frustrating, or however you want to put it, that we're watching this team just get absolutely destroyed almost every night. So what I look for, really, like Brendan said, it's hard to kind of pinpoint. Like, there's so much chaos happening. It's not a good product so far. So I look for kind of the key takeaways. Like, Max Reynaud right now is playing really well. He's starting at the center spot. Domas is out tonight. I'm looking to see what Max can show, because he's someone that was drafted in the second round, 42nd pick, was first-round talent. Maybe the Kings have something there. We'll see. But the way that you figure that out is in situations like this, where a team is very bad. They're not playing for much, really. Like we talked about, the veterans can keep playing as hard as they want. This team is, on a very negative trajectory. So I'm looking to see the players who are going to be here longer than February. Kind of like you said, Doug Christie. He's someone that is obviously in his first year as head coach, a full-time head coach. If he's here next year as well, can he learn from this year? Can he be in a better spot going into camp in the fall? But it's hard to kind of sit here, and I think the first couple of weeks it was, wow, Russell Westbrook's playing for the Kings. That's pretty cool no matter how you slice it. Now it's like, okay, they're pretty tough. Keegan was playing really well to start, coming back from injury. The aggression hasn't been there. I was looking at his last game log. He was taking 13, 14, 19, 16 field goal attempts. The first 5 games back, he's averaging 19 and a half and 8 rebounds. He's shooting 16 field goal attempts per game. Since November 30th, he's taken 11 or less. So not the aggression that's been there. Maybe he can get going again. Those are the kind of things that I'm looking for personally. And if you are out there, what are you looking for? I'm intrigued, but it's as far as us breaking games down like we were a year ago, and the Beam Team season going into, wow, like the D.A. Joseph's really working, and they're really pushing the pace, and Fox can really push it, and Domas with the offensive. No, there's not much that you can see there. And one last point, and I think Precious brought it up yesterday, and I hadn't really thought about it in a while. They haven't played one game this year with the whole roster fully healthy. When Keegan came back, Domas went out. So maybe there's a combination of players that can work and be competitive with Domas and Keegan on the floor. But myself personally, I'm looking at just the kind of the key takeaways of what is a true positive, which is kind of back to like a losing mentality of silver linings, which I know a lot of people hate. But this team's 6-20. So what more can you really look for right now?
You're going to love this, Allen. I actually was pretty disgusted and have been pretty disgusted with how the Kings off. I've really been paying attention. I think it was the Denver game. I actually had to miss the live game itself and rewatched it, already knew the result. And so kind of having that experience of already knowing what the result was, and I can kind of just watch other things, I really paid attention to just like factually, what are the guys doing? Like, where are they moving to? What spots are they getting to? And these last 2 games, I have paid more attention to like what they are actually doing as opposed to like the result of the play. And their offense is disgustingly basic. Like, they run drive and kick. It is essentially a read and react flow offense, but the problem is it sounds nice when you're a flow offense and it looks good, and it looks terrible when you're a flow offense and you're just driving, kicking, and maybe occasionally calling for a screen. But like, the thing that's really frustrating me, and I kind of feel bad for myself, because last week I felt like I was kind of maybe being too defensive of Doug, and maybe this is, just kind of redirecting everything. But I kind of feel like I would like to see some, you don't see, hey, let's clear out the side, let's run a pick so DeMar gets a nice little low post action. We know DeMar loves the post game. Let's kind of ice him on this side. Like, the only ISOs they run is, okay, we'll swing, and then people clear out. Like, there is no getting guys in advantageous situations to thrive. They're not running pin downs. They're not running, just watch how they play. And it is truly swing. I might call for a screen. We'll run the pick and roll off of that. I'll either give it to the roller or I'll take it myself. Or if the defense collapses, hopefully somebody's open for three and they take the three, or it's rinse and repeat. They'll get the ball out there. They'll drive and kick, hope somebody's open. And it's just at some point, you run that for 4 quarters, they're going to figure it out. You run that for 4 games, and at some point it's all right, we don't have to game plan for the Kings. Yeah. We just have to keep them in front of us. And if you just watch the juxtaposition of how did that Kings possession go, even verbalize it. Say the pass goes from Schroeder to Malik to DeMar to, okay, they set a screen. And then watch what happens on the other side. It's like night and day. Again, it's drive and kick on one side, and then on the other side it's, they run a double pick up top and, have the guy slip out for a wide open. You can see how they are, again, actually using plays to get guys in situations they thrive in. I can't think of a single situation in which the Kings ISO'd Keegan in the post and have really tried to develop that game because Keegan was great in the post in college and we haven't seen it in the pro. That's the kind of stuff that if we are going to talk about development, let's see those kind of things. I don't need to see Keegan put the ball on the deck for the 100th time and take a mid-range jump shot that he's just clearly not comfortable with. Let's get these guys actually in good. Nick Clifford he started that game, played like trash. Yesterday or on Sunday, his last game played 13 minutes off the bench, zeros across the board. That can't happen. Even if he's going to be 0 for 10 like Russell Westbrook has been a couple times this season. I need this guy getting put in situations where it's at least we know he's great, getting to that spot. We're not seeing Kings get to spots or get put in situations to be put in spots. It's what's your bag? Go use your bag to hopefully get somebody else open.
Yeah, and to piggyback off that, Chris, when we've been talking about the hierarchy conversation and how Nick is playing with Hall of Famers, it's kind of hard for him to decide, I'm just going to be out here pulling. If you have plays in place, that's where Doug comes in to say, hey, guys, we know what it is, right? Yeah. So we're going to make sure we're running this option play, whatever, that gives Nick an opportunity to shoot the basketball if we're going to start him. You don't just start him and let them just run around. Yeah. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but that's how it be looking. I mean, that's how it looks.
No, he's just a cog in the machine, right?
And the other thing is, I don't know if this was, I'm pretty sure it was with Doug. I don't know if it was pre or post the De'Aaron Fox trade, but there was a game, it was a home game. And they found this play where DeMar was running baseline and popping up, and he would either pass, he would either pass out of it, right, or he would take that shot at the elbow, but he was coming around it from the baseline, and they were just spamming it against whatever team it was, and they were doing their thing, and I think they ended up winning that game. Even stuff like that, I know this team doesn't make sense, but it feels like in some odd way the offense has regressed even from the interim beam team. And I got one word for you as we have that discussion, and I'll tell you what that word is to see if the guys agree with me on the other side. It's getting hot and heated, but, somebody's got to hold these guys accountable. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
So you need last-minute gifts. No judgment. Get an extra 25% off during Kohl's Friends and Family Sale and find great gifts under $20. Like something cozy, something thoughtful, something that says you planned this all along. Yep, you're just one quick trip away from checking off the last gifts on your list. Save now at Kohl's and Kohl's.com. Select styles. Offer ends December 24th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Progressive has great customer service, and it's easy to reach us because great and easy is the way to be. Like salads. Great for you, and so easy you can put any group of veggies in a bowl and it's a salad. A full carrot with a head of cabbage. Weird, but still a salad. 1 radish and a couple of green beans. Also a salad. 14 blueberries, half an onion, and a sunchoke. Odd, yes, but an odd salad. So contact Progressive's customer service by phone, app, or online. It's great and easy, just like salad. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
With Steel, batteries are included. This holiday season, give a gift that's ready to go right out of the box. For everything from cleaning up the yard to cutting up firewood, Steel tools check off the wish list and knock out the to-do list. And right now, buy select battery tool sets and get a free extra battery. Visit SteelUSA.com for holiday deals and gift ideas. Happy holidays from Steel. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Call Maverick Electrical to claim your free furnace tune-up or electrical safety check with a donation. This month, donate 5 canned foods to Maverick Electric's Holiday Food Drive and get a free furnace tune-up or electrical safety check. They'll collect your cans at the appointment and make sure your heat stays comfy and your lights stay steady, so the only thing whistling is the kettle, not your ductwork. Visit callamaverick.com to schedule your free tune-up today. Give to get with no gimmicks. Limited appointments, some restrictions apply. At Sierra Pacific, your home's comfort comes first. Need fast heating or plumbing you can trust? Our skilled, friendly technicians are ready when you need them. Save 10% on heating or plumbing repairs this holiday season. Get a heating system tune-up for just $79. Call today or visit SierraPacificHome.com. Legendary service and craftsmanship since 1984.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air. The guys in the big red trucks.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code POWER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
This Sactown Sports 49ers report is brought to you by Kia of Vacaville, located beside the Vacaville outlets. San Francisco improves to 10-4 with a victory over Tennessee, 37-24. Brock Purdy throws for 295 yards and 3 touchdowns, and Jawan Jennings catches 2 of those touchdown passes. Niners remain 1 game behind Seattle and LA in the division standings. Next up for the 49ers, they take on Indianapolis Monday night. You can catch the game beginning at 4 p.m. right here on Sactown Sports 1140.
Ready, set, win big. When the 49ers win, you score. With 49% off any large pizza, only at Mountain Mike's Pizza. Celebrate every game day with your favorites from our legendary crispy, curly pepperoni, bold sauced up wings, garlic butter drenched sides, and gooey sweet desserts, all hot, fresh, and built for a Niners victory. Download the Mountain Mike's app, join Mountain Rewards, and turn every Niners win into a pizza party. Let's go Niners. Mountain Mike's Pizza. Pizza the way it ought to be.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit KHTK.com. Sactown Sports would like to thank everyone who joined us at this year's annual Santa Parade. Special thanks to our sponsors who make it all possible, especially Western Health Advantage for the 11th straight year, Shriners, and Cal Auto Museum for Santa's Fine Ride. Cheers till next year.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
Well. You know it's the dirty 30 when we hit 130, but now we got a dirty 15 because there's plenty to get to here with the roundtable guys, including as we close out our roundtable segment with a little bit of Chris and Keegan as we try to guess who is who. But first, Chris reminded me I never paid off that tease on the player that is that we talked about earlier in the show that could kind of blend who exactly the Kings are in the direction that they're going. So I will pay off the tease right now, guys. That player is LaMelo. And I know, I was initially out on it, but I was talking to Dan Favale, and I'm starting to convince myself because, shout out Matt George, it's not a full-on double down because he's only 24, and you're not going to acquire all the talent you have via the draft, right? You're not just going to stink and get 5 hits in the draft and now be good with 5 starters that you all drafted. That doesn't happen. So
Golden State. Oklahoma City.
Well, who was the no? Who was the center?
Golden State had Bogut.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
My point is, I get what you're saying. 3 or 4 draft picks.
They won one. And then what'd they do?
You
tell me.
There
you guys.
Then what'd they do?
Went 73-9.
They got Kevin Durant. Come on,
you
Frankie.
digress.
This guy,
finish your point.
Frankie comes to one round table.
That was crazy.
And then derails the whole
I'm
thing.
sorry. I forget that.
Okay.
Sorry. Please go back to your point.
All right.
Detroit.
LaMelo, yes or no? How about you, Frankie?
We've talked about this already, and I'm saying it's widely reported that the Kings are not in on any of those top name guards.
It can be reported.
But hypothetically, yeah, it can be. Hypothetically, if they were to get a LaMelo Ball, I worry about the defense. The same thing with Trae Young.
LaMelo's 6'7".
Don't say that. Please don't do that.
Come on, man. What are you doing?
Well, he is.
I mean, he's kind of the originator.
You have to be very careful. But no, what you tell me. You take the floor. What to me, from your perspective, is so enticing about plugging LaMelo Ball into this kind of
Can I real
Kings
quick ask
roster?
who for? Because I think that's pretty important.
I think it would be a
Because I don't know if
Levine
it would be like a Sabonis. Yeah.
Levine.
Okay. And keeping Sabonis around.
Levine and Capital. You know I'm not moving my 2026, but Levine and Capital.
Okay.
Right? Not a ton.
Yeah.
But some capital. And I know there's injury risks. But the way I'm looking at it is
a lot of risk.
Realistically.
He's played 50 games, over 50 games.
It's
like
pretty
3-4
crazy.
years.
Yeah. No, I hear
don't hate it.
I hear you. But I think that's just as much of a gamble as we look at the Jazz, right? They've tried to stink time and time again. I don't even know who their big hit is out of the draft. They just continued to stink. They got Lauri Markkanen, who they did not draft. Cody Williams, our guy, that brother can't play. Okay,
Keontae George.
Sure. No, but I'm saying a dude. We're looking for a dude. The Jazz have been stinking for years. They still don't have their dude. The Blazers. Who's the best player on the Blazers right now? Denny Avdia. How'd they get him? Trade. Scoot, we don't know what Scoot could do.
I mean, Kings were bad for 17 years with draft pick after draft pick.
But this is Scott Perry.
Right.
So
Scott Perry was involved last time.
No, but it was a little bit different. Sure. So I don't know. I just think the idea of we're going to sink for 5 years and get 5 starters is a little overblown.
Oh, no, I would say to the Levine point, too, I'll just say beggars can't be choosers, right? Like, if you want to get rid of Zach LaVine, like, if you get LaMelo Ball, you're not getting better than that. Like,
and he's 24.
That is a solid, really young, forget what you will about his warts. Like, that's why he's available. Like, he's injury prone. His basketball IQ is questionable, to say the least. I think some of his character stuff is questionable, especially if you're looking for a leader, which this locker room has been looking for years. That's what I would say. It's just like, of course, it's risk, but if you're talking about trading Zach LaVine, like, I'm not going to complain about getting a 24-year-old guy who's shown superstar potential. Forget, all the other warts. Like, that's a great return.
My only worry is the money, and like, if you're moving Zach LaVine, that's fine. Sure. It's a gamble, but the money is.
But you're not paying anybody else either.
Yeah, and to that point, it's like it won't get much better. If you're going to move Zach LaVine, it's going to be a big contract for a big contract, and like LaMelo Ball. Maybe he can come to Sacramento and figure it out and like play over 50 games in a year. But he's making $40 million next year, 43 the next year, then 46 the next year. Yeah. So that's quite a commitment. You have to be, I don't want to say have to be sure because like there's no sure things in the NBA. But I think him and Domas would be intriguing for sure. But in that point, you have to have Keegan Murray. You have to have one more forward, whether it's finding out a way to go get Kuminga or finding out a way to get another kind of versatile forward.
Now this guy gets it.
Jarris Walker.
Is that
now this guy gets it?
Is this your blueprint? Getting Kuminga, LaMelo, and
Jarris Walker,
AJ Devontae,
and thank you. So you're rolling out Keegan, AJ, Sabonis, and LaMelo. I mean, that's not a crazy world.
Real quick, this is reminding me, and this is actually, in theory, I guess, what you're plotting here is like the Kings, the hey, I traded a penny and got a house. Like, this is what that would be with LaVine for LaMelo. Is like, I mean, you could argue you had the house in De'Aaron Fox and you traded it for I don't know, the doormat or something, but this is maybe getting, turning a doormat into a sofa, and maybe you could turn that sofa into something else that you can actually use, or maybe you just have a decent sofa that you use for a couple years, and it is what it is.
That's what I'm saying. So that was the first thing I wanted to pay off. The second thing I wanted to pay off was the idea that, funny enough, the Kings maybe even ran more with no point guard last season, and it's almost like they're
in transition. You're talking about
just in general
after Fox, like post Fox.
Yes,
no point
because
guard.
they didn't have a point guard. They had to do more. The name that I was going to say was, I hate to do it, and I don't want them to call me Tubster or anything like that.
Oh, no.
But it is
Russell.
no. Is some of this on the fact that it's the Russell Westbrook universe, and he's just doing whatever he wants.
He lost a lot of pounds. He was fat.
I don't know. I guess somebody else can take it.
I mean, I feel like Russ is an interesting guy to watch on a night-to-night basis because, first of all, like to your question of are these guys trying to win games, that's one you never have to question, right? Russ is always trying to do anything in his power to contribute to winning basketball, but I feel like you can see him on a night-to-night basis, sometimes quarter to quarter, being like, what does this team need right now?
Yes.
Like, it feels like in that starting unit, they need me to pass. All right, I'm probably going to get the first 4 assists of the game. They need me to rebound because Keegan and Domas are out. I'm going to lead the team in rebounds. Nobody's scoring in this fourth quarter. I guess it's time for my midi leaners.
Yeah.
And
again, that goes back to Doug. If there was more of an offense in place, Russ would run it.
Right. 100%. I mean, I agree with what Chris said. I think their offense is pretty gross at the current state. I think that they attempt to run different things than they do more often than not, which I don't really know how to take that. That probably speaks to the confidence that the players have in what's being run, to be honest. I mean, I think Russ is 100% an interesting guy to keep tabs on because he seems like he's trying to evaluate what this team needs on any given night and trying to cater to that a little bit. But the fact that it's different every single time goes back to, like, what is the role? I don't know how to describe Russell Westbrook's role. And I feel like you could go down the line, and I don't know what any guy's role really is, to be honest. And I think that's a lot of the problem. I don't know if I answered your question, though.
No, I think you did. All right, Kyle. It's time for Chris versus Keegan.
Yes, by popular demand, we're bringing it back because Portland plays Sacramento tonight. So
CD Sissoko.
And CD Sissoko.
I thought we meant this Chris. I was like, huh?
Well, Chris, this is Chris's request. He wanted this game. So as Kyle gets us fired up, we will play a piece of sound, and we will guess whether that was Chris Murray who said it or Keegan Murray who said it.
Probably more sound from Chris Murray these days.
It
was a little sparse before.
Yeah. I got 6 clips here. I think Allen should go last because Allen's figured out this game.
Okay. Yeah. I know the
Keegan's got a deeper voice.
Yeah.
All right. So here's sound number 1.
It's been a good summer. A lot of progress on the court, off the court. I feel like it was my best summer, just just mentally.
Yeah. Easy.
That's Chris.
It's Chris, for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say Chris,
Chris, 4 Chris's. That is correct.
We should submit our answers at the same time.
We should.
On a 3 count.
We should.
That's
a good call. We'll do 3 count.
All right. Here's sound number 2.
It's a next man up mentality. If we lose a guy, we gotta pick him up with how we play, and starts with being aggressive and.
Ooh. 1, 2, 3.
Chris.
Keegan.
So we got 3 Chris's and 1 Keegan?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know who was who, but I thought I picked up that sound there. That was Chris Murray.
Let's go. You guys won.
Stop it. Allen's the big loser.
That was a closer
there.
one, though. Almost sounded like you edited his voice.
I thought about it for a
deeper.
minute.
Yeah.
All right. Let's try this next sound here.
I mean, they came out aggressive.
Yeah.
Especially in the second half, they came out aggressive.
That's crazy.
In fairness,
I'm just saying, that's Keegan.
They do both say
They do.
a lot.
That's Keegan.
Which is a common crutch word, by the way. Come on, everyone does it.
It's no hate.
I didn't say it. Keegan.
It's like if you played an audio clip and it was like, I just do what I do. Be like, all right, that's Keon.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's try sound number 4.
He's a player's coach and kind of knows what to say to kind of get us going.
I think that's
3. 1, 2, 3.
Chris. Okay.
All Chris?
I think we got it.
All right. Yeah, we got it
Talking
again.
about Chauncey Billups?
Good job.
Just saying.
See, that's where I thought I could get
context clues.
You could be talking about Chauncey,
It's
Tiago
true.
Splitter, or Doug Christie.
There we go. Yeah.
All right. Here's our fifth sound.
Yeah, I think I've gotten stronger,
Yeah,
so that's helped a lot. I mean, my brother, he kind of just flies and gets rebounds and things like that. So just watching him and things like that just helped me kind of figure out that obviously just fly and get a rebound. And if you do that, the ball's going to reward you in some way.
1, 2, 3. Keegan. Close, though.
Yeah. Sorry, was that 4 Keegans or 3 Keegans?
That's all Keegans.
Yeah.
4 Keegans. That is Keegan.
Yeah.
I had to think about that one for a minute.
Is that
though.
like from college or something?
That's a close one.
I can.
Because what threw me off is him talking about him being a good
Yeah.
rebounder. I was like, no, hey, but I'm like, Keegan is the one that's played.
Yeah.
More.
That is
3 boards a
from
game.
March 27th, 2025.
Okay.
That was,
Interesting.
okay.
Last season. Okay.
Very interesting. Yeah, that was actually a little harder on the.
That was a great one.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, the
difficult.
context.
It was meta having the brother talk about the brother
Yeah.
while
Yeah,
playing Chris or Keegan.
Easy.
There you go.
I mean, it was easy. You got one wrong.
I was messing.
All right, last one.
Those are kinds of games you like, just like when you're seeing everything really well. Ball feels good in your hands, and was able to have that in the second half.
1, 2, 3. Chris.
All right, you guys have figured out this game then.
There we go.
Except for
Yeah.
Allen, who went, 4 for 6 or 5 for 6?
I think you're the only one that got one wrong.
Yeah, I was just.
Might need to ask Kenyon more about the difference.
Yeah, I got a text message that.
Yeah, we can
that
throw
I
Kenyon
wrote.
in there too.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's right. You
Will
know
do.
him. You know him, huh? That's right.
I do. He was on the show, and he'll be on it again.
There we
All
go.
right, guys. Thank you to Brendan Nunez, Frankie
Probably in
Cardicelli.
town this week. This would be a good time to get him.
I'm telling
Maybe
you.
tomorrow.
I'm telling you.
Maybe.
Don't
I
worry
don't
about
know.
what I
Hey,
got going.
Listen all day tomorrow and hear.
Tomorrow's going to be a good show.
We got some surprises coming.
All right.
Chris Watkins
Yeah.
as well, guys. Thank you so much. Be sure to follow all of them on social media and to follow our official Sactown Sports account. Got some great things coming up in 2026, and these guys are the reason for it. We appreciate you guys. We'll talk to you soon. Oh, okay. On the other side. On the other side, we kick off the 1 o'clock hour. Kaminga Watch is still on, even if none of them are responding to me. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Year-end pricing's in effect. Every vehicle's priced to sell before the new year during Happy Honda Days. At Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Get behind the wheel of your new Accord or Civic today. Own or lease during Happy Honda Days at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Visit us at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
At Power Business Technology, we're not another big box corporation. We're your neighbors, locally owned and operated. We know what businesses like yours need, from reliable printers to high-performance copiers. We'll help you find the right solution with personal service you just can't get online. Need setup or support? We're just down the road and always happy to help. Power Business Technology, family hometown service with big-time solutions. Contact us today for all your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Mike Rowe here with another random fact. Those cracks on your walls aren't just cosmetic. They could mean your home is sinking. Whether it's drywall cracks, exterior cracks, or sticking doors or windows, do yourself a favor. Call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys, and they're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to stabilize your foundation.
Groundworks, official foundation repair company of Cal Athletics.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Sactown sports fans, the countdown to the best live events starts now. The Roots are taking over Hard Rock Live Sacramento on December 27th. Get ready for legendary deets and the kind of energy only the Roots can bring. And we're just getting started. Then mark your calendars. Comedy takes the stage at Thunder Valley Casino Resort with Cedric the Entertainer on January 16th, followed by the sharp, fearless, absolutely unfiltered Daniel Tosh on January 24th. 2 comedy heavyweights, 1 powerhouse venue. Country fans, suit up. Brad Paisley rolls into Thunder Valley on January 30th, bringing all his hits, swagger, and all the good vibes. Then on January 31st, the breakout star everyone's talking about, Ernest, hits Ace of Spades for one night only. You know this show's gonna sell out. And don't forget R&B royalty Jodeci hits Hard Rock Live Sacramento on February 15th. The smooth, soul, and classics, all live. Grab your tickets now before they're gone and keep up and tune in to Sactown Sports for more epic shows coming your way.
KHD HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Hammer time thrown down by the league.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sactown Sports, 1140. Your home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sactown Sports.
Taking you up to 2 p.m. It is time. Hope you didn't forget. Janet Jackson.
Oh, I forgot I was supposed to play Janet Jackson.
Miss Jackson, if you're nasty. Win a pair of tickets to see Janet Jackson at the venue at Thunder Valley on Saturday, December 27th. Kyle, we're looking for lucky caller number
4.
Caller number 4. Caller number 4. 916-339-1140. 916-339-1140. To win a pair of tickets to see the legendary musician Janet Jackson performing at the venue at Thunder Valley on Saturday, December 27th. That's caller number 4. Hey, caller number 4. Oh, I see them coming in. By the way, Prop Talk tonight looks like 56% chance of rain out there at Lumen Field, or I should say up there in Seattle.
Did the Rams ever make it? Wasn't there flight delay?
Yeah, I don't know. So just be careful there with the Prop Talk. All right, I don't know, the Pukas and the Jackson Smith and Jigbas. There's some high numbers. Now, the Puka thing is different, though, for Prop Talk.
Which Puka thing?
The Puka receiving is different because they'll put him in a lot of screens. Jackson Smith and Jigba, I'd be a little bit worried tonight. I'd be worried. If it doesn't rain, we'll see. But the last time the Seahawks, as Kyle seems to have maybe found the winner here. Last time the Seahawks had the Rams. Yeah, that was back, 5 games ago? Yeah, it was a low-scoring game. The Rams won 21-19. Okay, Sam Darnold threw for, that was a Sam Darnold interception game. Sam Darnold threw for 279 yards, but he had 4 interceptions. Matthew Stafford only threw for 130. All right, Kyron Williams ran all over the place with 91 yards, and Puka still had 75. JSN did have 105. But, if I'm not mistaken, the Rams, they were up 14-3, and then the Seahawks kind of crawled back. They made it 14-9 and just weren't able to get it done. So it was a good game. So that is coming up tonight. A little bit of rain going on as well. So over a 50% chance of rain. So be careful with the Prop Talks. Might be a lot of rushing yards today, but then they could load the box. So who knows? All right. So that is coming up tonight. We also, of course, have the Kings taking on the Portland Trail Blazers. But before we get to that, you know what time it is. It's time to hit our Kuminga quota. All right. And we discussed how Michael Scotto had laid out a very, very in-depth article about everything going on around the league. But the Kings were all over that article as well. This is what he had to say about Kuminga Watch, which has kind of cooled off lately, but I have a feeling it's about to heat up. He says, some things have changed since the summer when the 23-year-old forward was a restricted free agent. The Phoenix Suns, who discussed several potential sign and trade scenarios for Kuminga over the summer, are not as interested now as during that time, league sources told Hoops Hype. Conversely, it's worth noting that the Sacramento Kings, who also discussed potential sign and trade scenarios for Kuminga in the summer, have continued to keep tabs on Kuminga from afar, Hoops Hype has learned. The New Orleans Pelicans were also previously linked to Kuminga, but it's unclear where they stand regarding current interest. Meanwhile, the Brooklyn Nets, who were speculated by some at times to have interest in Kuminga, never showed much interest in the 6'7" forward. So, yeah, the Nets, they've been that obvious pick, if you will. The Warriors could go get Michael Porter Jr., and that money doesn't exactly match, but the Warriors would probably do Kuminga and Moody, right? And I don't think they'd have to give the Nets a pick if you're giving them Kuminga. I think that's the whole point. So Kuminga and Moody to make the money match for it would probably be Buddy Hield, but either one would work for Michael Porter Jr., but doesn't seem like the Nets are very interested, who they had an opportunity to get Kuminga at that time as they were trying to figure out what the deal was before he signed that contract, and they didn't. So, and they decided to go get Michael Porter Jr., and they were given a first-round pick. So I think they made the right decision. So that is the situation there with Kuminga and some of the other teams. Yeah, not really too sure what to do with Jonathan Kuminga right now. Of course, they are in a position, the Kings are, to kind of just wait and see, because I don't think the Warriors are loving anything that they see from the Kings. And again, even in the Domantas Sabonis possible deal, as that's been brought up before, Domantas Sabonis isn't playing, and it would be a little bit different if Domantas Sabonis was dropping triple-doubles every other game and was on track to be a rebound champion for another time in the NBA, but that's not the case right now. So the Kings aren't making it easy on themselves, and timing is so important in all things in life, and of course in sports, and when it comes to trades and trade scenarios and things like that. So that's what's going on with Kuminga, and the Kings are just saying, hey, you know what we have, and you know what we're willing to do and not do. So do with that information what you will. We are trying to confirm something. It looks like, Mark Stein came out with another piece, and the Mark Stein piece is being brought up when it comes to the Keon Ellis sweetener conversation. So we have more information on that we're going to get to pretty soon here once Kyle and I get a chance to check out everything that came out. But it sounds like the Kings don't want to do the sweetener thing. It sounds like the Kings would rather see if they can salvage this thing with Keon if they can't get a late first-round pick for him. So that's what it sounds like, but we're going to continue the conversation once we get more information. But I wanted to tell you that because I see it kind of floating around a little bit. So there you have all that. Kyle, we found a winner.
We did find a winner. Shout out to James.
Okay. So now you got one more chance, people. One more chance to win Janet Jackson tickets.
Tomorrow.
And maybe luck wasn't on your side earlier this week. Powerball's still going. So you got one more chance tomorrow to win Janet Jackson tickets. Kyle, we were just going over what Michael Scotto had to say about Jonathan Kuminga.
Oh, we're back on the watch?
Yeah, the Kuminga quota, we had to hit it. And really, I think that's the Kings saying, hey, we're interested. And if it gets to a point where you decide that what we're willing to offer is something that you would enjoy, cool. Let's have that conversation. But I think right now the Warriors don't want anything. And this is what Brett Siegel has been saying for months. The Warriors just don't want what the Kings are willing to offer. And if we want to have the Domantas Sabonis conversation, well, he's not playing right now. So it's a little tough to have that. So yeah, the Nets aren't interested. The Kings are interested, but the Warriors aren't interested in what they have. And the Pelicans, that situation, not surprisingly, is unclear as to what they want to do.
Yeah. Are they? Because the only way the Pelicans thing is going to happen is with Trey Murphy. And they seem pretty steadfast on they want to keep Trey Murphy unless you're willing to make them an offer they can't refuse.
The Pelicans are doing this thing where they're just collecting all of the Warriors has-beens. They have Jordan Poole. They have Kevon Looney. They're going to have Jonathan Kuminga. There's a part of me, Kyle, to be honest with you, I do think that the Kings are going to the Warriors are going to find a way to get Trey Murphy. I think they're just going to overpay a little bit and they're going to send Kuminga and some picks and just be done with it. That's what I feel. And that's the funny thing about the Trey Murphy thing. I know he's a little bit younger, but to me, you could maybe save those picks. I mean, I know the Nets don't have that level of interest. At least they're not signaling that they do. But I don't know, man. Just feels like for what Trey Murphy is going to be on that team, I think you're headed towards not overpaying him, but what you're going to give up will be an overpay. His contract isn't bad, but for what Trey Murphy is going to be on the Warriors, based on what they're going to give up, I think it's going to be an overpay.
So this is a really interesting note. I remembered seeing this in the Scotto piece, but it framed the Trey Murphy conversation very well, which was he also mentioned the Portland Trailblazers as a team that maybe makes sense for Trey Murphy, but he had this. Some executives around the league who have spoken with Hoops Hype have also wondered aloud if it would take a package similar to the Desmond Bane trade to acquire Murphy, who's only 25 years old and signed through 28-29, which that package, if you'll remember, was KCP, who is older and not as good as Kuminga, but KCP and 5 first-round picks, not great first-round picks, but 5 first-round picks in order to get Desmond Bane to Orlando. So if that's the Trey Murphy thing, yeah, hold fast to your price of a young player and multiple picks. Maybe even try and hold out for 3 first-round picks if you can, if you're the Pelicans. If you think Trey Murphy is in the same value caliber as Desmond Bane, then yeah, you should hold out for something better than just Kuminga and a first-round pick.
Yeah, so that's kind of the latest and greatest on the Jonathan Kuminga thing, and we hadn't really talked about him too much. He's getting DNPs, and his agent was tweeting, and they're going to hold out. And when we had Brett Siegel on, he said that the Warriors would rather overpay, or I shouldn't say overpay, but give up more to get who they want versus will quote unquote settle and not have to give up picks, but then get a Malik Monk and Keon Ellis where they got too many guards already, So that's, I think, where this thing ends. There's the Domantas Sabonis conversation, but that's a deeper one too.
But so. I love that the Kings are just like, we want him.
Yeah, we still want him.
You guys ready?
Right?
We want him.
I'll tell you this much. Based on this write-up, it doesn't sound like there are 10 teams that want Jonathan Kuminga. So I don't know. That, again, that's why the Warriors are in a position where they have to be willing to give up Kuminga and draft capital, which I don't think they wanted to do, but nobody gives a bleep about Jonathan Kuminga and Brandon Podziemski in a package. I'm sorry. And Moses Moody. Nobody gives a bleep about any of them.
Or at least they're not willing to give up what the Warriors are asking for, which is a young number 4 option power forward who can shoot. Like we went through this exercise with the Warriors. It's like, so what? You want Porzingis? You want Lauri Markkanen? Like, there's just not that many guys available that they specifically want to fit around this team. So either they're going to settle and take a Daniel Gafford or something, which I've seen that trade get floated around before, or they're just going to hang on to Kuminga.
Yeah, and I don't know why they would go in that direction. So we'll keep you all in the loop there as we kick off our Kings-Blazers preview with the injury updates. Dennis Schroeder is questionable with the ankle, not the hip. Domantas Sabonis is still out with that meniscus. Zach LaVine out with an ankle. He'll be reevaluated in a week. Drew Eubanks out with that thumb. Devin Carter unavailable due to the G League. The Blazers, Drew Holiday out with his calf. Scoot Henderson out with his hamstring. Matisse Thybulle out with his thumb. Matisse Thybulle.
He's still there, man. I think he's still on that same contract that the Kings wanted to trade for 4 years ago.
Dame out, of course, with the Achilles, and Blake Wesley out with a foot. So we're going to guess the spread here in about 10 minutes. But prior to that, Kyle, I mean, these are the situations, if we're looking at the starting lineup, you're obviously going to go Keegan and the normal crew, Keegan, Maxime, DeMar DeRozan, Russell Westbrook. Is this another Neek opener situation? I was so annoyed when we spent all that time and the news broke. Who was it? Mark Haynes broke that Neek was going to start, and then he played like 9 minutes and
had 2 points
and got back in. No, he had 0, and then he came back. I think he scored the 2 once they got blown out, So I don't know. I would assume it's going to be Neek again. Is there any world where it's maybe a Keon?
I guess it depends if Schroeder is going to play or not, which, by the way, it's not even the hip. It's different injury now for Dennis Schroeder. But
is there a world where
they start him and Westbrook again?
No, I was going to say as we start to head towards this trade stuff, what does questionable look like, right? Is Dennis Schroeder in a rush to get back on the court? Because obviously he's in a position where he could get traded. Then if he does not play, Kyle, then you'd have to give Neek Clifford and Keon legitimate minutes. I mean, obviously Malik could play 40, but I do wonder now as we're headed towards these trades and conversations like that, I'm not questioning whether anybody is injured or not. I'm just saying from a larger perspective, a big picture perspective, what the approaches will be to getting somebody back on the court, right? If you were in the midst of an NBA, NBA contention and you're trying to keep the 4 seed or stay out of the play, and that's one thing, but these guys are kind of just waiting to get moved.
By the way, just to use the prop talk test, Dennis Schroeder props are available. Yeah. So
questionable, normally they play, it feels like.
Yeah, more often than not. I mean, again, you usually go through warm-ups and see how it go, but these guys are competitors. They're going to want to play unless they absolutely can't. By the way, no Keon props available tonight, so they're just expecting another DNP CD. So I don't know exactly how the minutes change unless you remove one of the pieces. Because we talked about this earlier, I think it was Tuesday, like Zach LaVine's injury ends up kind of clearing out the logjam a little bit. I mean, now you've got Malik, you've got Schroeder potentially starting at the 2, and then you've got Neek and DeRozan. Maybe Keon still doesn't play, but at the very least, it doesn't feel as clustered together where they're all fighting for 15 minutes between the group. And if Malik has a good first half, maybe he'll play 25.
Right. The Malik minutes are definitely connected to, and I think Russell Westbrook too, he just starts, but definitely connected to how he plays and how things go. So,
and whether they're getting blown out.
Yeah, and because Malik is a weird one. You're not going to play him in garbage time. There's no point in playing him in garbage time. He doesn't need those types of reps. So Malik really, he's the one guy, talk about prop talk, he's the one guy you should probably just stay away from because so many things could go right or wrong. You start to get blown out and Malik is not going to play with the cleanup crew, right? He doesn't do that. Keegan does, but Malik doesn't play with the cleanup crew. Now, look, we're talking about a 10-16 team here in the Blazers. We're not talking about the Thunder or the Nuggets or one of these kind of cream of the crop teams at the top of the West. So I expect a decent game tonight. I don't know. You are missing Zach LaVine and Domantas Sabonis. Klingon might be the easiest over of the night.
You don't believe in old Maxime?
Not that I don't believe in him, but
to guard 7'2".
Yeah, he still could get his, right? I think they both could get theirs. I think they both are just probably going to do their thing, really.
God, I still cannot believe that crazy stat that centers were shooting over 70% from the field against the Kings for like a 10-game stretch. It didn't even matter. It was like Edie, Valanciunas went 7 for 7. Like, it didn't even matter who was playing. Just everyone was cooking the Kings centers.
Yeah, so, they are missing some guys. The Blazers are. Both teams are missing some guys. We don't know what's up with Dennis Schroeder quite yet. But I think this is a good opportunity to hopefully get some young guys in. And you're going up against a team that was in a similar position to you not too long ago, right? The Blazers are in a position where they seem to be headed up the escalator as we were using those comparisons earlier. So I do think this is a good measuring stick. I know that's a cliche, but it's one thing when you do have to play the Timberwolves and the Nuggets every bleeping game. It's another thing when you get to play a Blazers team that's 10-16. They've been a little bit bipolar, right? They'll show up in certain games. They seem to be a good matchup against the Warriors, but then they'll lose games that they probably shouldn't be losing. So this is an opportunity for, I think, both teams to kind of show what they can do and get a breather in the West from playing the Rockets and the Spurs and all these teams that just are just all over you. This is a little break for them, even the Lakers. So I think both teams should take this opportunity to, get something out of it. And hopefully we're not looking at a blowout, because at some point you have to find a way to compete throughout the game and make it a basketball game. I mean, Kyle, just off the top of our heads, and I know the Kings, they did win a game, but I'm looking here, Kyle, I'm going backwards, right? Blowout against the T-Wolves, blowout against the Nuggets. I guess that Pacers game was a good game.
Yeah, it was a good game. It was close at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, even that Timberwolves game, they were kind of in it.
Yeah, Heat, blowout. Rockets, blowout. Grizzlies was like that Pacers game. So they've played in semi-close games, but there have been a lot. Even that Jazz game, they lost by, 9? Going back to the Suns, end of November, they lost by 12 in that one. So it's just been a while since the win that they had against the Timberwolves that they've just been in a true close game. Because I think that's the thing, even with whether you're an 8-seeder or whether you're a tanker, if you turn on the game, because I don't think you got to start it from the beginning, but if you turn on the game and you see, Kings are within 5 or Kings are up 5, yeah, let's see what they can do. Even if your long-term thought process doesn't align with somebody else. When you turn that bad boy on and they're down 15 in the third, or you blink and they were down 5 and then you went and got a sandwich and you come back and they're down 15, that's the stuff that stings. I mean, you could lose, but trust me, if you cover, that won't affect your draft stock. You don't got to get smacked, right?
Well, I mean, normally I would say that's the problem with having bad defense, but I can't remember which Minnesota game it was, but it was either Minnesota or Memphis, but it was like they scored 4 points in a 5-minute stretch down the end of these games. Like, the offense just got tight in a lot of these games. The Rockets game, they scored 4 points in 5 minutes in that third quarter. Like, normally it's, your defense goes, but the defense hasn't been there all year. Where those stretches start to happen is where the offense kind of disappears.
Yeah, and I thought we had a lot to get to, so I don't think I gave Chris Watkins his flowers the way I should have given him his flowers, and just breaking down just his frustrations with this offense. It's been this weird situation where, and we've played the sound, Doug has basically gone Nick Saban on the offense and in saying the offense is fine. We don't need to talk about the offense. And I know that's why people will say, well, sack media this, sack media that. Kind of feels like people haven't asked him about the offense. Now, my argument or my rebuttal to that is, if you don't get good answers from someone, you're not going to continue to ask questions. So if Doug has essentially decided that he's not going to give us in-depth answers on the offense, then I don't necessarily know that that's on the media to continue to ask him questions, knowing you're not going to get good answers. But somebody got to answer for it, because you're right, Kyle. The end of these games, it's a complete cluster, you know what. That's what it is.
But this is the part that's so weird about all of this, and I'm just making sure I have the information right here, is that as bad as their offense has been, the bigger problem actually is the offense. Like, as bad as their defense has been, since Domantas Sabonis went out with injury, the Sacramento Kings have the worst offensive rating in the NBA. And it's so bad that the gap between them and the second worst team, which, by the way, is the Milwaukee Bucks, that's the same difference between the Milwaukee Bucks and the 15th place team in the league. Like, they are the worst offense in the league without Sabonis. And I get you take your positives with Maxime playing good and DeRozan having efficient runs and Westbrook doing this or that. But I mean, I don't have to tell Kings fans this. This offense is ridiculously inefficient. And when it's not playing well, i.e. they don't have their best player, it is the worst offense in the NBA.
Yeah. And I do feel like that's a lost topic in all this. We know that these guys are walking the plank, and we know that this team has an expiration date, but it's kind of crazy that they also just haven't improved at all. And I don't think that's a great look, not just for Doug, for that whole coaching staff. Seriously. Let's talk about it on the other side. We got to run Daily Tankathon, and Bleacher Report has who they believe the Kings will take in their first NBA mock draft, and we guessed the spread. Welcome to the Dirty 30. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
Tonight, Kings and Trailblazers. Team night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner.
Starts at 5:30 with tip-off at 7. Listen to your Sacramento Kings
On the official home of Kings basketball, Sactown Sports 1140.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code POWER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
So Pure Talk just had their best year ever and asked me if I'd like to thank their customers on their behalf for being so awesome. I said sure. It's important to say thanks, especially this time of year, which is why, as one of their many satisfied customers, I should probably thank Pure Talk first for keeping their customer service in this country and for providing hundreds of American jobs. I appreciate that. I also appreciate their Roundup program, which makes it easy to support America's Warrior Partnership and join the fight against veteran suicide. And I love that Pure Talk donated 1,000 hand-sewn Made in America flags to veterans around Independence Day. And of course, I really appreciate their generous support of my own foundation, MicroWorks, and their commitment to help us train the next generation of skilled workers. Having said all that, it's now my pleasure, on behalf of everyone at Pure Talk, to thank you sincerely for choosing to do business with an American wireless company that actually stands for something. And one more thing. Merry Christmas.
Now is the time before winter is full on in your kitchen to make sure your heat or your furnace is ready. How do you do that? Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating will get the job done for you like they did for me last winter when our system crashed and burned in the dead of winter. Check them out, leesair.com. Right now, get $100 off any AC heating or plumbing repair. Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating does it all, and they've been doing it at a high level for 40 years. See how they can help you stay warm and cozy all winter at leesair.com. That's Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating, license number 635355.
Who has the largest selection of golf merchandise in Northern California? The Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. It's the go-to store for golf bags, apparel, equipment, lessons, club fittings, novelty items, and more. With their low price guarantee, complimentary gift boxes, and gift cards for your golfer, it's the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Add convenient online shopping and effortless after-Christmas return policy, and you'll see why the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is the #1 choice for golfers everywhere. Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway or online at hagenoaks.com.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This 49ers Red Zone Report is being brought to you by Mountain Mike's Pizza. Pizza the way it ought to be.
Brock takes, gives. Christian pushing forward, flags down. McCaffrey's in the end zone.
This is going to be against Tennessee, I believe. Yeah.
It's a 49ers touchdown. Out of the shotgun. Here's Purdy, takes the snap, flushed out right, throws. Jennings, front of the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown, 49ers! Jennings broke across, a big spike for his second of the game.
Ready, set, win big. When the 49ers win, you score. With 49% off any large pizza, only at Mountain Mike's Pizza. Celebrate every game day with your favorites from our legendary crispy, curly pepperoni, bold sauced up wings, garlic butter drenched sides, and gooey sweet desserts, all hot, fresh, and built for a Niners victory. Download the Mountain Mike's app, join Mountain Rewards, and turn every Niners win into a pizza party. Let's go Niners. Mountain Mike's Pizza. Pizza the way it ought to be.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
Man, oh man. You know, I'm seeing this, Kyle. We've been talking about the Mike Scotto article a lot today. And there's just certain players. Now, when I say this about Malik Monk, who is my favorite player, I have to say it every time I bring up Malik Monk on the Kings. When I say this about
right.
When I say this about Malik Monk, it's not as a dig, but you just enter a time in your career where you may not have been yet, but you just enter a time in your career where you're just habitually going to be mentioned in trade talks, right? And there's certain players like this. Because another name I'm seeing, Miami has looked at the trade market for Andrew Wiggins. That's from Mike Scotto. And there's another guy where, hey, you're going to get paid a lot of money, and as your contract looks better, you're just going to be in trade talks every year. And it's him. I think Malik is headed in that direction. We have a whole list of guys where you're always going to have a job, but you could always get a call where you have to move yourself and your family.
Yeah, and sometimes you become Kyle Anderson, who's been traded 3 times in the last year, or you're Miles Turner, where he almost got traded 18 times and never got dealt.
But never got dealt.
And spent a decade with the Pacers.
It's just some of the same. We are to the point now where the usual suspects have arrived, okay? So Malik Monk, because he was slotted to take that contract last season, it's been a little bit different. But this season, now that he's on the contract, his name is coming up a bit more. But he's just joining all these other players. And maybe they have a group chat, right? Just the tradables. That should be the name of the chat. Just the tradables. Who'd be in that chat, Kyle? Kyle Anderson, Andrew Wiggins, right? All these names that we always see. Kyle Kuzma.
Brooke Lopez.
For
years.
Right. And they've added, when you add somebody to a conversation, Malik Monk has been added to that group chat of all the tradables. Just guys, every year we bring up whether or not they could get traded.
This was one that he then eventually got traded, so I think he's off the list, but it was Brandon Ingram for the longest time.
Yes. I would say Cam Johnson, no, but Michael Porter Jr., yes.
Yeah, Michael Porter Jr. is a good one. This is a personal one for the Kings because I remember people just talking about him. Matisse Thybulle, just always in trade rumors, never getting traded.
Jeremy Grant has to be in that group chat too.
See, Jeremy Grant's tough because once he signed that contract extension, it's like, well, now no one can trade for him. Then it was then he became
He left the chat.
He got his payday, and it was like Jeremy Grant has left the chat because he's stuck in Portland.
Jeremy Grant has left the conversation.
Duncan Robinson was another good one.
Yeah.
Honestly, Tyler Hero should be in this group because, Tyler Hero almost got traded for James Harden, 6 years ago now?
Yeah, and the Cavs, I saw the only untouchables on the Cavs, Mobley and, of course, Donovan Mitchell. So that means Darius Garland has been added to the tradables conversation.
Yep. The Strus is loose.
Yeah.
Maybe Max Strus is on the move.
There you go. All right, Kyle. Let's go ahead. We have a couple things to do. But
fire up that tankathon.
I'm going to do that right now, and it's been a while. All right, let's see if that matches. Oh, we're just gonna run that again.
One more time.
Yeah, we got 7, and I don't like that.
How? Aren't they third right now?
Yeah, they dropped 3 spots. Brooklyn jumped 5. Let me just run it again. We're stuck at 7 right now. Oh. There we go. Wait. Come on.
Hey, we had 4 days to make up, This is
Yeah, so 3 sevens in a row. And then with the first pick in the NBA draft, the Sacramento Kings select
Darren Peterson.
That's what Bleacher Report thinks. It won't be the Kings, but that leads us right into it, Kyle, Mr. Senior Segue yourself. Washington Wizards. This is what the Bleacher Report article has, and it's just based on the current the current positions. Washington Wizards taking Darren Peterson. The Atlanta Hawks taking Cam Boozer. And at number 3, the Sacramento Kings taking A.J. Debinsa. Still 18 years old, A.J. Debinsa continues to overpower defenses on drives and create easy space isolating the arc. He's consistently earning himself high percentage looks, including an easy angle finishes and uncontested jumpers around the key. He's only taking 2.3 threes in 30.6 minutes, a low number for a scoring wing. In comparison, 250-pound Cam Boozer has made twice as many from behind the arc through the same amount of games. His catch-and-shoot game has been the only offensive weak spot so far, though Debinsa hasn't really needed to shoot from deep, given the success he's having attacking the rim and scoring from the post. Otherwise, his passing has been a huge plus. He's averaging 3.4 assists, showing vision when doubled or in the open floor, and some real playmaking feel in ball screen situations. It's sounding like Debinsa could realistically go number 1, 2, or 3, depending on how the lottery order shakes out. They got the Pacers taking Caleb Wilson, by the way, at number 4. And yeah, that's where they're at right now.
Hey, as long as my thing about the lottery is that if you're going to play the lottery game, you got to play it for multiple years. My point is the Kings are going to get a talented player this year.
Yeah.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it. They're going to get a very talented player. I just hope it's Darren Peterson.
You got to support that talent. All right, Kyle, let's play Guess the Spread.
All right.
It's in Portland, right?
It is in Portland tonight, but Saturday's game is in Sacramento versus Portland. So we're doing the same game preview tomorrow.
Yeah, that's true. Domas out, Levine out. I'm going to say Blazers 7.5.
I'm going to say Blazers 10.5.
Oh,
Allen,
goodness.
Every time we say this, it ends up being more than what we think. I mean, no Levine, no Sabonis. I'm going to go 10.5.
Okay.
Whitey's not in the room, so we can't get a Whitey guess. Let's just assume his 9.5, right?
Yes.
It doesn't matter which way. He's just going 9.5.
Yes.
All right, pulling this up. We do not have a correct answer, but Allen, you were the closest. It is Portland 8.5.
Oh, I almost went to 8. So Portland 8.5. Can't say it's disrespectful because the Kings never cover. So
this is sad. Okay, so on ESPN they list players to watch just on the basic box score. So for example, Warriors and Suns, it says players to watch. Steph Curry, Devin Booker, Magic Nuggets, Paolo Banchero, Nikola Jokic. For tonight's game, Kings versus Blazers, has players to watch Denny Advia and Russell Westbrook.
By the way, Maxime Reynaud has made his appearance on the Rookie of the Year ladder. Okay, he is in the top 10 for Rookie of the Year ladder. I saw the Kings promote that.
From NBA.com.
Yeah, so good for him. But he is not on the list of things to watch. So
this could maybe be a new game, too, is guess the ticket price for tonight to get in the door in Portland.
Oh, in Portland?
For the 6-20 Kings versus the 10-16 Blazers.
What do they say? Keep Portland weird. You go get a nice IPA, right? A nice hoppy IPA.
Oh.
Get a nice hoppy IPA, and you go check out your Kings for, I don't know. I mean, it's not cheap in Portland. I'll say you go check out your Kings and get a hoppy double IPA for $12.
We're pretty close. $10.
Man.
$10 to get in the door for Kings and Trailblazers tonight. God, I remember years ago when the Kings were clinching the last playoff spot. The game was in Portland. I remember Dave flew up there and he was caught crying on camera.
Yeah, I remember.
Jason Ross, a bunch of people. And I remember before the ticket prices were $10 because Portland was completely out of the playoffs at that point. But then all the Kings fans started buying tickets and the price went up to $25 as the minimum. I say that to say, if any Kings fans want to recreate the memory and we're all going to mass fly to Portland and watch this game, there's still time.
There it is. There's still time. All right. Drive Guy is going to join us on the other side. Do not move for a little bit of crosstalk. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with primetime football. It's back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game in high-hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game. Offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Business moves fast, and so do we. At Bank of Marin, we team up with businesses in the greater Sacramento area to help you drive the lane and score big. With dedicated relationship bankers and local decision-making, we help you move quickly, whether you're upgrading equipment, buying your next building, streamlining cash flow, or fueling growth. From expansion to investment, we're ready to help you win. Bank of Marin, your local business bank. Visit us at bankofmarin.com. Member FDIC.
I'm with Vince Bloom, the big deal guy at Folsom Lake Dodge.
Vince! Actually, this time of year, you can call me the Holiday Big Deal Guy.
The Holiday Big Deal Guy!
Because during the wrap-up the year sales event at Folsom Lake Dodge, you can save over $18,000 net savings off MSRP on a new 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4.
I'll take it.
And for a stocking stuffer,
keys to a Jeep,
a new 2025 Jeep Wrangler 4-door Sport S. Right now, I've got one for only $36,995.
That's why they call you the Big Deal Guy. So over $18,000 off a Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab
and a Jeep Wrangler Sport for only $36,995. But you'll only find these big holiday deals at one place.
That's right, only one place. At Folsom Lake Dodge in the Folsom Auto Mall
and online at folsomlakedodge.com.
Ram includes 9873 dealer discount plus 8207 in national stackable and holiday bonus cash. Then SN 667196. Jeep includes 4250 dealer discount plus 12750 in bonus national retail loyalty and holiday cash. Must be current owner of SCA vehicle to qualify for loyalty bonus cash. Then SW 543907. See dealer details, expires 1/2/26.
The NBA is happening Christmas Day. 5 games, 1 unforgettable lineup.
That's what Christmas is all about.
Buckets for breakfast, breakaways for dessert. It's the holiday tradition.
Christmas is our day.
With star power from across the globe.
The stars, they are going to be out.
The best gift, you don't even have to unwrap it.
We want to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year!
NBA Christmas Day begins at noon Eastern on ABC and ESPN.
Progressive knows road trips without your pet can be tough.
Hi, this is Next Stop Dog Boarding.
Hi, it's Scott again. How's Squeaks doing? You can tell if he's stressed by his eyebrows. Oh, and his breathing should sound like this.
Scott, Squeaks is exactly the same as last time you called.
Okay, let's talk in 20 to see if anything's changed.
With Progressive, your pet is covered up to $1,000 in vet bills in case of a car accident. So next time, you can take your pet with you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and subject to policy terms.
So you need last-minute gifts. No judgment. Get an extra 25% off during Kohl's Friends and Family Sale and find great gifts under $20. Like something cozy, something thoughtful, something that says you planned this all along. Yep, you're just one quick trip away from checking off the last gifts on your list. Save now at Kohl's and Kohl's.com. Select styles. Offer ends December 24th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Year-end pricing's in effect. Every vehicle's priced to sell before the new year during Happy Honda Days. At Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Get behind the wheel of your new Accord or Civic today. Own or lease during Happy Honda Days at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Visit us at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Call Maverick Electrical to claim your free furnace tune-up or electrical safety check with a donation. This month, donate 5 canned foods to Maverick Electric's Holiday Food Drive and get a free furnace tune-up or electrical safety check. They'll collect your cans at the appointment and make sure your heat stays comfy and your lights stay steady, so the only thing whistling is the kettle, not your ductwork. Visit callamaverick.com to schedule your free tune-up today.
What will a Maverick do? 'Cause you are a Maverick too.
Give to get with no gimmicks. Limited appointments, some restrictions apply.
Guys, if you're worn down, putting on weight, dealing with low T symptoms, or ED, something's off. Ignoring symptoms doesn't fix the real issue. For a limited time, Revive Men's Health Sacramento is offering free full diagnostic panels, a $400 value. It checks testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. The key areas that reveal what's driving low T, ED, and more. Plus, qualified patients get up to 25% off select treatments now through year end. This gives you a clear answer on what's off and the steps to improve it. Over 120,000 patients have trusted Revive since 2011 because the results are real. Claim your free full diagnostic panel today. Call 916-619-3000. That's 916-619-3000. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Live and local
It's Allen Stiles
on Sactown Sports.
I grew up in the purple glow, Arco Thunder in my bones. Back when 2002 felt like a promise carved in stone. Bibby shot, Gladys tap, Christy clapping right on back. We were one cause and glory, man. We still talk about that.
See, well, is this the same AI program as the Fetty Wap?
Well, I mean, this is an original song made by AI.
Right.
That's just a remake of a Fetty Wap song.
Right. I hear you. Hey, here's my lyrics. Here's the tones and the chords that I like. Can you make a song versus, hey, can you make this Fetty Wap song 1950s, please?
Yeah, change none of the lyrics.
So, Kyle, I have this for you. And it sounds like Whitey Gleason is in a meeting, so Kyle and I are going to close this thing out. So, Kyle, I have this for you. It is actually national, and it leads into prop talk because, Kyle, it is National Twins Day. Okay? This is from Kings Uniform Tracker. Someone knew what they were doing when they scheduled this game today. Today is National Twins Day, and the Murrays are facing each other. All right. So with that being said, letting into prop talk, I mean, this is an easy one, right? I can't speak for Chris Murray, but easily you have to take Keegan. And I believe Keegan has been, they've been lowering his number because he just honestly hasn't been scoring like that. So let me double check here. They had him at 16. I know with Levine out, they have Keegan. Yeah, it's 16.5. Hammer that. That's my pick right now. It's Twins Day. I don't know if I can't speak for Chris Murray because I don't know their rotations as well, but Keegan Murray will hit over 16.5. That's a lock.
The one I keep saying, and I know it's the devil one, so you have to do it a little larger, but just keep taking the Keegan stocks, the steals blocks combo. It just keeps hitting almost every time. So until proven otherwise, just keep taking Keegan steals and blocks.
Also, Chris Murray is at 5.5.
5.5 what?
Points.
That's not a lot.
Well, I'm just saying 2 threes. Will he get up 2 threes?
Let's pull up his game logs and see when the last time he hit 2 threes in a game was.
Last game against the Warriors, he had 5.
He has not hit 2 threes in a game in 6 games.
Yeah, but he hasn't faced Keegan on Twins Day. That's a little bit different. Keegan on Twins Day, I'm telling you.
Okay. By the way, the Thompson twins not playing each other today, unfortunately.
Okay. All right.
So the NBA schedule maker's letting us down.
Yeah, that's my obvious pick. Whitey Gleason is joining us. Whitey's gonna have to figure out who he wants. Normally, Whitey already knows who he wants. I think the Maxime Reynaud thing, he finally didn't hit. All right, and I know Donovan Klingon is a good defender, but Maxime Reynaud at 12.5 with Drew. Who is the other center?
Oh, it's Precious. They keep playing Precious at the 5.
You gotta think Maxime's gonna hit on something. They don't even have another. You know, he's gonna do it when Klingon is taking a break.
Alan, I don't even know anymore. Which king is gonna score? Which king is gonna rebound? I don't know anymore.
This is all with the caveat that I always say of stay away from the Kings. I've been saying that for weeks now because it's a complete mess. Except you don't know who's doing anything.
Except for Keegan steals and blocks.
Keegan's the only one that's been getting that consistent playing time, and he has not been hitting his points.
By the way, Precious Achiuwa is hitting threes now all of a sudden. Like, I don't know if that's a flyer one, but he took a 3 in transition the other day. I was like, what is happening?
I'll tell you what, Precious used to be at 6.5. They got him at 8.5 now. To your point, Kyle, that might actually be the pick of the day because with no other center, Precious is going to be out. I think we got a good ticket here, Whitey.
Yeah?
Keegan, Precious, City Sissoko, revenge
that's
game.
where I was going.
Okay, well, that's where I was going. City
Sissoko over here.
We need one or two more on the ticket.
Chris Murray.
If I'm gonna sink, I don't want to sink because I was being too cute. I want to sink because of volume. Then I go Denny, because Denny's gonna go off.
Oh, that's your guy anyway.
Actually, this will be interesting because I guess, you know what? I got it, guys. Keegan's gonna be guarding Denny, so I don't know that Denny gets to 26.5.
Right.
So you know who you go with? Shaden Sharp. That's the ticket.
So let's keep track of this for tomorrow. So it's a Shaden Sharp.
Shaden or Jeremy, because who the heck is guarding Jeremy Grant? Precious
or DeRozan?
I think Shaden is they can't guard everyone, right? So I think or Keegan and Precious can't guard everyone. So here's the ticket. Keegan 16.5, Shaden Sharp 23.5, City Sissoko 6.5, Precious Achua 8.5.
Okay. All
that
points.
Is cash.
Yeah.
I'm still just going Keegan steals and blocks. It hits every time, except for the Pacers.
You know who probably sinks us, if anybody, is probably City. It won't be City. It will be Keegan.
What? You
City's
just said
good. City's solid.
You just said 50% of the ticket is going to sink you.
Yeah, you just never know, man. It only takes one, but this is a good ticket.
By the way, Alan, I want to apologize for what was said about you on the show yesterday.
Where is she?
Oh, I'm not talking about that.
Oh. What happened? What else happened?
Well, later in the show, we were talking about yoga. Kayla was mentioning that she does yoga, and she said, you know what? I think I'm like half an inch taller than I was before I did yoga. And then somebody on the chat said, maybe Alan should try that.
You know what's funny about that? I did do yoga.
I think he's short, Tim. I think he's short.
I did do yoga during the pandemic, and I do think.
There you go.
There was a little something there.
So it's legit.
I was walking around, hey, baby, well, to my wife,
God, what did you look like before the yoga?
He was like a lawn gnome.
Yeah, but then you don't do it, you regress. Yeah. What's going on here?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. That's a thing. That is a thing.
Before we move on and ask him what's coming up on the show, can we do the NFL prop talk?
Oh, Kyle wants to do.
Because I've never seen this before, and I just need to bring it up to the people.
What?
So, I'm quadrupling down again today, but I've never seen this. A Green Devil, Matthew Stafford, negative a half a rush yard. So you can take Stafford for negative half a yard. So if he gets 0, I hit.
Right.
But if he gets -1, you lose. So this cannot fail unless he doesn't kneel down at the end of the game. This cannot fail. Matthew Stafford, negative half a rushing yard over today.
So that means he just has to get back to 0?
It just means he has to stay at 0. What they're essentially saying is, will Matthew Stafford kneel down at the end of the game? Or
Kyle,
lose a yard?
Will you give it up with this?
No. Not until I win, Alan. I've lost on Aaron Rodgers, Phillip Rivers, Kirk Cousins. It's gonna work. Finally. Matthew Stafford, negative half a rushing yard.
Okay. Whitey, you got someone?
Yeah, if Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th and Michael Myers from Halloween had a baby, it would be Jason Myers, Seahawks place kicker, and I'm going with him.
Okay.
I don't know how many it is, but
a little bit of rain today.
Over on field goals for Jason Myers.
Okay. Yeah,
who's chasing the all-time single-season record for most field goals.
It's a goblin at 1.5, and then you got the demon at 2.5. So they basically are trying to get some money back by saying, hey, we think he's going to hit 2. So you guys are both taking the goblins today. I get it. It's a rain game. You never know what's going to happen.
I mean, I don't care. Matthew Stafford, negative half a rushing yard. I got that.
Kyle, I thought you were going to go with your boy Blake Corum with his rushing yards.
Oh, yeah, that too. But Matthew Stafford, I mean, I got to win at one of these.
Yeah, I don't. It's definitely a goblin day because of the rain. I'm going to go ahead and go with... I'm not going to do running backs.
You are.
All right.
It's inevitable.
Give me Kyron Williams, 10.5 receiving yards. Over.
Yeah, you can't help it.
But their offense just does screens to Puka, not running backs.
Yeah, but I mean, Puka is at 91.5 yards. That's a lot.
Yeah, he gets a lot of yards.
Actually, you know what? I don't want this to get into Schmal and Miles' actual picks. So I'm going to go with Blake Corum. Give me 35.5 rushing yards.
Yeah, he's been killing it.
I'll take Kyle's pick. Thank you to the roundtable. Chris Watkins, Brennan Nunez, Frankie Cardicelli. Thank you to Dan Favale of Bleacher Report. Great stuff. Thank you to Kyle. Great job as always. We have one more for you tomorrow as we get you ready for the NFL. And there is a proposed trade from the NFL that involves, in a weird way, the Raiders and Fernando Mendoza that you don't want to miss. So I'm excited to get to a Football Friday with you tomorrow. Whitey Gleason coming up on the drive, guys. Whitey Gleason and Jay Johnson get you ready for game night with the Kings taking on the Blazers on Twins Day or National Twins Day. So we know the Murrays are going to be going off. And are they going to switch jerseys? I mean, we've seen, you don't need to do it again, right?
No, we've seen it.
Okay, maybe it's a new jersey, but we don't need to do it. All right, until tomorrow, secure the bag. Like the beam.
Like the beam. Don't forget about podcast.
He's a player's coach and kind of knows what to say to kind of get us going.
Don't forget my podcast.
Gotta go.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality